Adora a couple days ago, which was the entire purpose of my live yesterday between 6:30 and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know why Vanessa ran. I would like to have that dialogue with them, but if they're still here, I just want to say that, and again, I reiterate this all the fucking time, is that for the longest time, even after you and I discontinued our communication, I defended you in spaces. I defended you in spaces in regards to your mental health. We had calls. I checked in on you even after everything. I said this on my live last night. I'm sure there's a fucking YouTube clip about it somewhere, that I will always defend you on very basic human things that need defense in terms of marginalization, in terms of you being non-binary, in terms of you being Black, in terms of you being, bullied or having your mental health be put at risk. I will always do that for you. Always. So you cannot sit here and say that I am part of a cult when I spoke on your name in spaces that you weren't even in. I defended your name in spaces that you were not even in. And then for you to sit on a platform with a known virtual essayer with 1.1K viewers and sit there and call me out like that is wild. It's wild. But I wanted to have a conversation with them. They ran, so I'm done. I'll pass it to the next person. Sorry.
All right, Lily. Are you there, Lily? Oh, they're a teacup. Well, everyone, first of all, a lot of y'all are messy because there's 396 people in here right now. And this page does not get more than on average, I would say like 40 to 50 people. So I know that the conversation is being had, but if you're new here, go ahead and follow and like the live so we can keep having the conversation because it is important to have. Also, like, I'm dramatic in my terminology, so not actually coming out anyone, but also like y'all are messy in the same breath. Anyways, Lily, go ahead.
Sorry, I apologize. I got a phone call. I really wanted to address Tweena. Oh, great. Yeah, I wanted to address Tweena and Brandon for a couple different things. In terms of what's happened recently, I mean, firstly, like, why are you guys supporting Adora? Adora's a predator.
Never said I was. Never said I was. Never said I was. Why are you putting words in my mouth? I never said I was.
Can I get through my first statement? Thank you. Yeah, so... Okay, Tweena. Anyway, so yeah, why are you guys supporting a predator? Whether it is being on that person's panel itself or opening the door for her to come back in the last, month or so by expressing your support for that person or just trying to pass off a mass violation, a sexual violation of people, potentially involving children at that. Why would you try and pass that off as a silly little mistake or cyberbullying when you are directly doing that not only to one person who isn't here, who has been mentioned a lot, but also other people on the app by trying to refer to us as being in a cult? So again, in case the first question wasn't clear, why are you publicly showing admiration and support for a predator?
Admiration is a fucking stretch.
Yeah, I don't know why you're strawmanning what we're saying, Lily.
Define strawmanning?
You're filling in blanks that aren't even there.
That's not the definition of strawmanning, Brandon.
I'm not debating with you, Lily.
What? I thought you're normally stuck in debate mode, Brandon.
No, I'm not debating with you. Okay.
I'm not trying to debate with you. I'm trying to get an answer.
You are. You're asking for definitions.
So we can establish. So we can establish same level. Sorry. So we can establish that the language we're using in this conversation is correct.
You know what strawmanning is. Also, here's the thing. I never said that I agree with what Adora said. In fact, several million times on this page, if you would listen, I said I don't agree. If that's what happened, I don't agree with what Adora did. I said it 7 million fucking times. I don't know how many times I have to say it for you people to hear. Here's the other thing. Stop doing groupthink. Have you seen the video, Lily?
Groupthink?
Have you seen the video?
Groupthink?
Have you seen the video?
Groupthink?
Oh, got it. So you haven't seen the video. So you have
Which one?
groupthink.
You literally, you had no issues with Mel when you used to pal.
No,
you're
right.
On my
And what did I
page
explain to you,
until
Twina?
you got fucking
And what did I-
brainwashed by that whole side that like, literally says, "Oh, Mel's tokenizing her child." You never thought that before, but Lily, you never fucking thought that.
No, Twina, but what I will tell you is, yeah, I was very ignorant because I wasn't on this particular space of TikTok.
Yeah, you are, Nicole.
But okay, but what happened was, yes, I looked at the Reddits for myself. I saw all the problematic shit. I didn't want to associate anymore. Then the Taylor situation happened, and that was the final straw for me. Yeah, you're right. So I was unaware and I was ignorant, and me ever being associated to you will forever be a stain, and I will forever feel ashamed of it. You're right. I didn't know, but I know better, and you should know fucking better.
Shut the fuck up. Just literally shut up.
Is that your best response?
All right. Okay.
Also,
And I
Vanessa,
came back-
did you
yeah, and I
did you
came
hear
back all up
anything
to talk about
I
you?
said?
Yeah, because you said that I called you out in the chat. Yeah, because for literally calling me a grifter, you pulled some shit out of your ass and spread a rumor in the chat about it in front of 1.1 k people. Why would you do that?
Because you are a grifter.
How do I grift?
I don't know. Maybe paneling with a known virtual essayer. When you know that paneling with them is one of the most harmful things you can do for your community when you claim to be a fucking advocate. Be so for fucking real, Vanessa,
I don't
please.
think that paneling with Adora is harmful. I think that Adora,
Oh my
Adora
God.
has made some mistakes and done some dumb shit, but like I still think that her platform can be like largely more useful than hurtful to our community.
So why did you tell people to get over it? Why did you tell people to move on and get over it?
I just meant in general, move on like from what Adora did. I didn't mean the actual victims.
Would you say that? Would you say that to victims in real life? Would you say that to victims in real life?
I'm telling you what I'm telling you how I feel about the victims. If I said that to the victims, and then I didn't mean it towards them. I meant it in general to like the people who watch Adora.
Mm-hmm.
To just move on from like Adora took accountability. She apologized. She's not going to repeat the behavior. I don't believe in canceling people forever unless they fucking murdered somebody or something like that.
Okay, so SA is not enough to cancel somebody forever. Like violating consent is not something to like cancel someone forever. You don't think that's a thing?
Can you prove to me that what Adora was doing was sexual?
Oh my God!
I can. I can. I have Adora's OF bio here. I can read it off to you guys.
Ooh.
Please do, Gato. Please.
Okay, so we'll start with the first little blip. Hi, my name's Adora. I'm a transgender lesbian. I'm so glad you're here, and I can't wait to share my body with you. The little emoji with hearts. Subbing to my page gets you the following. Daily pictures of my boobies. Live streamed nude morning routine at 8 a.m. Eastern. Most days. I'm not done, Tweener. Hold on.
Wait, no, but I'm talking
Wait, I'm not done.
specifically about the dilation.
This is important, though. Listen.
I know that she was posting sexual
can I
content
finish?
on
Can I
her
finish
OF
reading
in
it?
general, but I'm not referencing the other
Let me
content.
finish reading it.
I don't really care because I'm not referencing that.
Okay, anyways, full photo shoots at least once a week. XXX content, all holes available, with a wink. Live streaming hangouts open to reasonable requests for a $10 tip.
Yeah, that's typically what an OF is used for, but in this particular context, it was not sexual.
Guys, I'm sorry. Vanessa, like you're not helping the situation at all.
No,
I swear sometimes.
Olive, you said that I was grifting.
Wait, no. We're not gonna move on from the fact, Vanessa, that you're being willfully ignorant, and everyone sees it. By the way, like everyone sees it. Like that.
Oh, I know you guys. Yeah, I know you guys groupthink. I know you guys all have the same opinion. I know that you guys have a mob mentality.
They just read off the bio to you. They just showed you this person established a contract by having this on their page. They told you the energy. They told you the parameters of what that page was for, meaning that all the things going on that page, all of the things going on that page are going to be having to do with that particular content. If this was not sexual, then there would have been no reason to like broadcast that to the app while they were debating. They did it because we live in a world where things such as voyeurism is a thing. People in enjoy getting off the things while people are not aware of what they're doing. That entire application is by and large used for sexual purposes. Her page was specifically for sexual purposes. For you to try to sit here and deny the reality of the situation, this is absurdity.
I'm not denying
this
that
is,
the OF
this is 100% absurdity.
Purposes, but that
Did everything that went
wasn't.
on, everything that went on there, according to that bio, was in relation to sexual content.
No, not the dilating.
For you to deny it is absurd. It is absurd. It is absurd. You look silly. You look silly. You look goofy right now. Because it is absurd. Everyone sees exactly what happened. You're still here trying to make excuses for it.
No, I have not seen proof that her dilating was sexual. I've not seen proof of that.
Literally used to be like, oh, that it's so pleasurable. Everything down there is so pleasurable. So what are you talking about?
Say how, she can experience pleasure despite having to have the bottom surgery, but that had nothing to do with the dilation.
So even though their bio literally suggests that
hold on. I will literally stop supporting Adora today if you can prove to me that the dilating was sexual.
Okay, well, hold on. We have proof of their bio, literally suggesting that all the content is actual, and we also have Adora repeatedly saying that everything down there is pleasurable. So this clearly infers that they were getting off while on live and streaming it to OF. You're just taking Adora's word for yourself because that's your friend.
No, you don't. You have no idea why I'm taking Adora's. You think
no?
Don't you think that there's probably things that conversations I've had with people and things that I've seen that would make me support someone who I'm literally going to probably lose more support after being up on this live supporting Adora.
As you should.
More people are against me than are on my side.
I mean, that's normal because you literally told SA victims to move on. So I think that's fine if that's what happens.
I already told you that if I said that, I didn't mean it in that way, and I apologize for that. I'm not telling the victims to move on. I'm telling the people who watch Adora in general.
Would you be in support of somebody dilating in front of a child? Because if it's not sexual, if a child was sitting there and a trans woman was dilating, is that okay in real life?
Adora didn't dilate in front of children.
Yes.
How do you know that?
Did.
Yes, she did.
Engage with what Olive said. To be fair,
Did any children have any children come forward?
There's always
forward?
kids.
Have any children came forward and said, "I saw Adora dilating"?
Oh my god. Thank you for the showtime. Lord have mercy. I watched the videos. Keep in mind, Vanessa, you and I came into the TikTok sphere around the same time. I don't fucking know this person, right? I watched the videos. I read the Reddits. I gathered the information about what she was doing and came to my own conclusion. After all the information that I gathered, I came to the conclusion that she was in fact being predatory and weird as fuck for dilating online. How do I know that? Because when I watched the YouTube video, you can see her repositioning her body, adjusting. She put out these weird little moans. You could see her actively, her eyes were fucking rolling back. And you can go back to the YouTube and watch it. Any adult who knows what the fuck is going on knows exactly what she was doing. Now, would you do that same type of thing in the proximity of a child in real life? Would you support that in real life? No, you wouldn't. Hopefully. I mean, who knows at this point? Who knows at this point if you would support that? Also, yeah, you're a grifter, because when a multitude of people come to you and say, hey, you probably shouldn't support this person because they are harmful, impact over intent, and you continue to panel with this person, and you have absolutely zero remorse, and then you double the fuck down about supporting this person, and then you claim that there's no actual schmexual activity going on, and you don't give a fuck about the violation of consent, that makes you a grifter. You're up on somebody with 1.1k viewers and supporting them through and through. For what? For what, Vanessa? For what? You're not listening to victims. You don't give a fuck about anybody who was impacted. Every single person that went up there got dropped. Every single person went up there.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I have the field now. Respectfully, It was sexual, and I can give you an answer as to why. One, it's locked behind a paid subscription wall. And as such, anything being locked behind a paid subscription wall, because the definition of sex work is the exchange of sexual services or a form of currency in a consentful manner. People paid to have access to it. Whether or not they're being educated on that fact doesn't matter whatsoever, right? And this is a sex worker giving this indication to you. Like, I work through OF directly. I can tell you right now that the whole purpose of OF was not for sex work. It was originally supposed to be a platform much like Twitch, but it then turned into sex work because it was easier to have access to that. But I can tell you right now, the fact that it was an OF, based off of the bio that was read, it was sex work. 100%. Doesn't matter if it was educational purposes. It was. And it violated a lot of terms of consent for other individuals whose voices were being heard without their permission. I will say that the rules within OF alone and the terms and services do not care about voices, right? They do care about other individuals that are being seen, and so they have signed contracts for that, but they don't care about voices, which is also deplorable. So I will say OF needs to change that rule too. But at 100% is sex work. And it was sexual.
Well, thank you. Let me see. Can I end this? I think I can. Well, it's probably gonna do it before but whatever.
Yeah, so Adora's bio on OF was posted recently to the Reddit. There's nothing about education or it being educational. It is sexual and always was. And whilst I wasn't there, during the time this was all happening, I think it's so incredibly wrong that there are people defending her, like the one that's still on the panel and the one that just ran away, and the one that's watching that never comes up on a panel. So there's a couple things whilst I've got the time that I'd like to add. As a moderator, you can remove yourself as a mod for someone at any moment in time. On Adora's original live coming back, Mel was a mod, so she never actually cut off that relationship with her, lying the entire time. Brandon, Mel, Twina, you've all opened the door for Adora to come back. Brandon, your live about so-called cyberbullying, which you were actually doing to multiple creators on this app, has opened up the door for Adora to come back. I think you should feel incredibly ashamed of yourselves. This is a stain on all of us here who call ourselves, I hate the term, but creators, and also the community as a whole. This will be weaponized against us. You have given weight to the homophobes and transphobes. If Adora wanted to take accountability, she would not continue to monetize off the platform she previously violated people on. She wouldn't block people who want to hold her accountable, nor would she ever return to this app again, because she would understand the weight and implications of her own actions. It's not the fault of the people who shared it. She did it. She violated people. She potentially involved children. I don't understand what you do not understand about that and the weight of this. I hope you say the same thing to victims, that it's a silly little mistake.
Well, that's a hard act to follow. I was gonna say, I think Adora is no different than, you know how Twitch used to be mainly for gaming?
Yes.
And now it's turned into a soft porn site, even though it was geared towards children, and you know what I mean? Well, initially it's 13 plus, but I don't see Adora any different. I think Adora is a weird voyeur. They clearly got off on this. I think what Olive said was, I didn't even know went that far. That's insane. And Adora has acknowledged in the past that they know that minors watch their streams. And I think it's important. I mean, it's sad Tweener didn't get to answer the question that Olive asked them, but it's crazy that this is just being well, not by everyone, but Tweener's trying to explain it away by saying that there's other factors we don't know about, when clearly everything being presented by everyone shows the picture, but it just sounds like that tweener wants to accept their friend. And to be fair, I don't really think that this has anything to do with like the LGBTQ. I think Adora is a weirdo, and they shouldn't be. Well, I don't think this should be. My view, Isaac. I don't want to bring that up.
No,
but like this shouldn't be around kids, and for tweener to just sidestep that Adora's presenting this as like on a stage that's meant to be geared towards validating whatever sort of kids. It's crazy. Is it she or they? I'm not going to answer that question. Okay, that's it.
Hi. Okay, so Brandon, you're next after me. So that means you have 2 minutes to find proof since you stopped looking for proof because that is a heavy accusation you made with no sources, nothing. And as a Black woman, all I've ever called out in any of your lives or tweeners' lives or Mel's lives is just any anti-Blackness I've seen or providing sources on anything. So until you provide proof, I would just really like you to not make those accusations, please. Because I've never said anything bad or transphobic. So, yeah, I'm gonna give you that full 1 minute and 20 seconds to find proof since there's so many screenshots. But while I'm up here, I'm just gonna also point out that there is a link between transphobia and racism. It is important for advocates to be educated on racism and anti-Blackness. And it is okay to call out anti-Blackness. And it should be literally promoted to call out anti-Blackness. It's not cyberbullying to call out anti-Blackness. It's important because we're dismantling racism and white supremacy, are we not? Is that not important? Like, I'm so confused. Like, I'm so sorry that racism doesn't affect you, but it affects me. So I'm going to call it out. So you have 40 more seconds. Hope you find the screenshots since there's so many. Yeah.
Also, yeah, I know that like a private Discord server was mentioned earlier. By the way, to whichever one of the mods that removed me from that, fuck you. All right. With light and love, TikTok. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Yeah, I was doing nothing in there but minding my business, and y'all removed me. So for what reason exactly? There was none other for you to just talk shit. So I see you, and I have a feeling that I know who it was. By the way. So, anyways,
3 more seconds. Get ready for them.
Again, let me say, I don't know Adora. I am not making excuses for what Adora did. If Adora did what everyone's claiming that Adora did, then I agree with everyone here on the panel. I've always said that. I don't know. I don't know what everyone is just accusing me of. If this was live streamed to her, if this was live streamed to her OF while she was debating, then she needs to be off the app, right? As far as I'm aware, I thought it was being live streamed to one person, one friend who was another trans girl who was looking into having a bottom surgery, and they wanted to know what dilation was like and if it was painful and what the process was. That's what I was told, right? And that's what I was defending. Again, if this was live streamed to an audience, that's different. If you're showing your friend this is what dilation is, this is the process. I believe the medical reasoning for dilation to show your friend that. I think the word essaying is being thrown around like it's nothing, and you're disqualifying people who are being essayed, right? As someone who was a victim of something like that, I think it's disgusting what people are saying about that. Lily, cyberbullying, I don't know what you're talking about. Who am I cyberbullying, Lily? I'm literally just standing up for people in the community who other people are just throwing under the bus with no substantiation. I will always do that. I will always stand up for injustice. I always have. I'm not defending Adora. I've never met Adora. I don't know where that accusation is even coming from.
Yeah, it's not for first and foremost, it's not for educational purposes. It was never that. I do understand that not every trans woman who undergoes bottom surgery may not know what to do, especially when the doctors explain and yada yada, and they might need someone to visually show them what to do because not everything can be explained in a booklet. But that's not what that was. That's not what that was. That person was on TikTok with people over the age of 18 and under the age of 18 watching their live and dilating their vaginoplasty. So it was not for educational purposes. So that line of things, and stop saying allegedly and all these, in between type of words. They did it. This is not an allegation. They did do that. They're weird for that. And that's predatory. Again, they're a predator. Okay? And no amount of apology is ever going to make it okay because they don't even take full accountability for it. They provided an excuse, not an apology. They provided an excuse. That's first and foremost right there. And the thing is that like, it was never for educational purposes. I don't know where you got that from. That was just their explanation. Because from what the OF video showed was only her hoo-ha and something going inside her hoo-ha. It did not say step 1, step 2, step 3. So like, I am very confused where you're getting this line of like, thinking from. And again, it's giving grape apologists. It's giving, you're making excuses for someone because they're in the community. Because this would be a totally different conversation if we're talking about a cis woman playing with a ding dong. Because that's what it was, to my perspective. Because those people on that live, they consented to a debate about the LGBT.
So I want to draw attention, and this may have been addressed previously. I didn't hear it, but I will draw attention to this when we talk about terminology. It is very important that in the context of this discussion, Adora and what Adora actually did, because Adora did do this for a fact, all right, that we recognize that the term dilation was not what Adora was doing. Adora, for lack of a more specific term, was self-pleasuring herself. And, I understand there may have been a discussion that we'll use dilation in order to keep this TikTok safe, but let's all be mindful. Adora was absolutely engaging in self-pleasuring activity for pay. And because when we go and overly medicalize what Adora was doing, we give it some type of an excuse that validates the type of harm that Adora actually did. I am going to continue saying this. I have been saying this ever since Adora got caught doing this, and I will double down on this 10 toes down every time that we have this conversation in order to bring the seriousness of what Adora did and their consent violation. As a trans woman, Adora as a self-proclaimed advocate for the trans community and for trans women specifically has made us all look like a freaking bunch of asses and played to the freaking worst fears of everybody that freaking criticizes us by literally displaying predatory behavior for freaking pay. It's disgusting. And the fact that individuals on this app, particularly like Tweener and Brandon, who have taken the position to try to give Adora grace, is absolutely inexcusable. You know the facts, and you've been playing wordsmith to give Adora an out.
I am going to piggyback off that because I did bring this up earlier. I have noticed the change in terminology when it comes to describing what Adora did, right? Like, we keep describing dilation as this innocent process, right? And like I said earlier, and I'm going to use proper terminology here, scientific terminology. Dilation is essentially using, right, a dildo-like object to maintain your depth and width of your vaginal canal. Within the first 3 months, you're going to have slight discomfort. It might be a little bit painful. After that, after you're healed and your neurons and your pleasure receptors are all healed, it is a process that even when you don't want it to be pleasurable, it is. And it can be very uncomfortable when you have to dilate and it's pleasurable. And you don't want to feel that pleasure. But either way, like Olive said earlier, we saw the facial expressions, we heard the moans. We understand what was going where and where it was going. We understand that inside of that canal, there are pleasure receptors and that person was getting some type of sexual gratification. Whether that sexual gratification was purposely done or not purposely done, it had no business happening in the first place. The dilation had no business happening in the first place. Like I stated earlier, if it was so important for her to dilate for her friend for educational purposes, she could have had Mel host a live to maintain their viewership and then gone and dilated and then come back later and restarted her live when she was done. It's the main reason why I brought this up. There's too many excuses.
Oh, okay. Hi. Yeah, so am I able to, I don't know that I'm going to have enough time to
Yeah, I'll just, you can continue after it ends.
Okay.
The order that you got brought up in.
Yeah. So I have a ton of evidence that I have submitted to the FBI, and clearly nothing has happened because she's back on the app. The evidence that I received was a combination of photos and videos of her performing sex acts for OF. There was nothing educational about anything that she did. Not only that, but she herself said in her OF bio and also like solicited others to pay her to use all holes with her dilator. So it was not educational. It was never educational. I think, as somebody just said, that there was never any explanation or step process or nothing about this was educational. It was completely 100% sexualized. A medical necessity was sexualized. And again, like if we want to talk about this in a serious light, using a dilator, which is a medical tool in your back door, there's never a reason to do that. If this was truly educational, then you wouldn't be doing that. You also wouldn't be soliciting people to have them pay you to do more than just that. So when I'm gonna pull up the screenshots, I want to be really mindful of this. Oh, I'm gonna get cut off, so I don't want to get cut off.
It's about that.
Okay. So there are things, and again, this is not me trying to not show evidence. This is me explaining why there are things I can't show. Some of the pictures that were sent to me from her private paid account. I cannot show those because that will get me in trouble. I did not pay for her OF. They were sent to me without my consent. So I cannot show that information. What I can show is the messages that I was sent via Reddit with the pictures that were sent to me. And because they were sexual content, they were automatically grayed out as not safe for work. So I can show that. I also have pictures that I confirmed with two people who were at the meetup that she had taken pictures at the Mel meetup last October without the knowledge or consent of anybody that was there. Again, I confirmed this with two people who were there because she took pictures and videos and posted them to her OF. And in the pictures, there's two very distinct things within the Mel meetup house. One of them is a pool table. And I confirmed that was the pool table that was at the Mel meetup. And then the other one was the actual pool where she is pleasuring herself and she is nude in these photos, again, without the knowledge or consent of anybody who was there. So I'm going to show these messages. I haven't shown these publicly. There are several people in here that I have shown these to and who know that this is real. I'm going to try and show them in order. If they're out of order, my apologies. They're not numbered or anything, but bear with me. I will try and explain a little bit of what is going on. There's no like there. So the P word is in one of the messages that was sent to me. That's the only inappropriate thing, but there's no pictures. Like there's nothing inappropriate that you'll see. I just want to give everybody that kind of warning.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna, because I don't have the ability. TikTok, get your shit together and give me the ability to expand people. So I'm unfortunately gonna have to go back on Showtime. As to give you the big screen, I'm so sorry.
Isaac,
Yeah.
before you do you have countdown?
Do I have? I do.
Countdown.
Have yeah.
So yeah, do countdown, and then there's a setting where you can do expand screen with countdown.
Wait. Okay.
And that is the new Showtime, like to expand the screen.
Interesting. I see.
If you don't have
set
Showtime.
Duration, and I have Showtime. It says set duration, and then add point target. That's it. I don't see anything about expanding.
Set duration normally expands, but just in case you need it.
What is that? I think I did it. Yeah, no, we're just gonna try the other way because it's just being difficult.
Real quick, here, this is one thing I just want to point out too, because I'm assuming that, either Adora knows about this live or is either on this live in an alt account. Why isn't Adora up here taking heat? Why are there other people holding the bag for Adora? Why doesn't Adora get a backbone and come up here?
Well, so that was actually the conversation earlier because it got brought up in chat by like some trolls. And then that was kind of like the entire dispute is if Adora should even be given any type of platform to speak at all. I hear your point, and I heard the point earlier. And again, this doesn't affect me as much as it affects other people because of like the community membership, right? I don't know if it's my place to be platforming her. I mean, other than the racism, because we could address that. Because I would like an answer to that one. But
that's what I've been addressing. Racism and anti-blackness.
Yeah.
And since we are pulling up screenshots, Brandon, where are the screenshots?
Also, I just want to point out real quick that both Mel and Adora, well, specifically Mel, sends Tweener up a black creator to speak on her behalf. Sorry.
Hold up. Can I unmute you from here? I think I can.
Yeah, I'm unmuted.
There we go.
Right. Yeah, so just really quick. Mel sends Vanessa up to fight her battles, and then never platforms with Vanessa. Makes Vanessa do it all by herself, and never comes up in her defense or in their defense. I'm sorry. And yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry. Nerdy, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So this is the first message that was sent to me on Reddit, and you can obviously figure out like who is who. So the yes, why do you ask is me. I have blacked out the name of the person who sent this to me. I suspect now that I know who it is, but I can't confirm. And I don't want there to be any sort of like misunderstanding or pitchforks and torches going towards someone who may have a similar name. So I also blocked out the name of my previous account, which I mistakenly forgot that I had an old Reddit account, and that old Reddit account connected to my professional profile. And I did not want people like figuring out that that account was connected to me with this. So that just kind of explains why it's blacked out. I have shown the unedited version of this to 2 people. So FYI. So they send me this message, are you the real nerdy social worker, essentially? And I said, yeah, why do you ask? They said, I remember you used to record stuff. Do you still have recordings? I found some stuff I need help verifying, I mean. I said, what kind of stuff and about who? Stuff about Adora and Mel and the BFS, Best Friend Squad. Adora was streaming her on OnlyFans while she was live with you guys. Now, this leads me to believe why I think I know who this person is, because they clearly weren't familiar with what was going on at the time. I was not at the Mel meetup, but I guess they thought that I was. So they said, when you were at the Mel meetup, and it's hard to read now.
I'm putting it back on. Give me 1 second.
That's okay. This app is trash since the new update, but what else is new?
Okay, boom, and then boom, and then 1 second. Sweet. And cool. There we go.
Okay. So I said, excuse me, what? Do you have proof of this? It's a lofty accusation without proof. Who is this and why are you reaching out to me? So then the next message is them just, again, unsolicited, sending me these photos that were thankfully like not safe for work covered. Let me see here. Okay, again, my apologies. They kind of look similar. So, oh no, this is the next one. Okay. So this is the next one that they send me. No, it's not. I'm sorry. This is out of order. So they sent me 4 messages before this, and this is the last one. But again, it doesn't really make a difference because I'll show them all. So they sent me the unsolicited, not safe for work photos that were grayed out. And I said, what the fuck? Don't send me this. How the hell do you expect me to verify anything? These are her private pictures. This doesn't show she was doing anything while live. And then they sent me a screenshot of a live where she had been simultaneously streaming. And I was able to verify via a video that was actually posted on Reddit of her simultaneously streaming to OF at the same time in this stream. And I verified that via the coat and via the, because she has 2 cameras. She has one in this angle where it's like right in her face. And then she has another one at the bottom left, like on her desk, her left, our right, where she was streaming. And she was wearing the same coat, same hat, and you can hear the voices in the background of this live. And one of the voices in one of the videos or one of the screenshots that I verified via the video was with my voice, as well as other people. Now, we also know that this was happening because she had been caught before without pants on in a video where she lifted up her camera and did not have pants on. So that's all. And that happened on a live where she had to shut the live down. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but she was arguing with someone about it. And she lifted up her, like she got up or lifted up her camera or something and didn't have pants on. That was one of the lives where she was simultaneously streaming. So this person said, I have recordings of her live on OnlyFans with your voice and more people, and I need you to check if you have the recordings on TikTok. And I said, you have recordings of me from OF. Are you serious? So you can kind of see like the next message as well. They send me another kind of grayed out picture. And let me pull that one up. Okay, so this should have been the second message. So I blacked out the picture underneath because it didn't gray out, but it showed her, like, I don't know why it didn't gray out, but she was in a black and red flannel that she had been streaming in the same day. And it showed her like not streaming at the same time, but it showed her in the same clothes. So that like same clothes, same hair, same, like, you know, it all looked the same. So I was like, okay, whatever, that doesn't prove anything. But then the pictures below that were the angles of her streaming to OF while simultaneously streaming to TikTok. So this is the second message. I saw the third, I already showed the third message. And then they send me more, as you can see. And they sent these again, like back to back. And then this is where they said, you were at the meetup, so she was doing this around you guys. I said, stop sending me the shit. I wasn't even there. It's illegal to show this. Fuck off. And after I sent that, I blocked this person. And then I guess that person deleted their account, because now if I were to go back into the messages, their account is gone. They might have blocked me.
I'm sorry, damn it. Wait,
Hi.
I wish I was
Make
able
me
to,
go away.
Yeah, I wish I was able to move it back. Wait, can I move someone back? Wait,
Make me go away.
Wait, W, yeah, hold up. There we go. Wait a second. Here, I'll just put this right here. Okay, and then we can just wrap that up. Boom.
Okay. So I then block this person. And when I go back now, it says deleted. So I'm guessing they deleted their account or they blocked me. I don't know. So within a few hours of getting this, I posted this long ass thing in the Reddit explaining what I had received, what I found, and what I had matched up, because I had video recordings and screenshots that I was able to, again, confirm that she had been simultaneously dilating and streaming to OF and TikTok. And in some of the videos, there's no sound. In some of the videos, there is sound. And you can hear multiple people, myself included. You can hear Mel. You can hear pretty much anybody that was, somewhat actively involved with Adora. This did not happen just one time. Like Adora said, it happened multiple times. And this was not for education. There was not a single thing about anything that she ever posted that was educational. And even if it was educational, I don't understand why it needed to be behind a paywall for a app that is for sex work. And the statements that she made in her profile were literally saying, like, willing to do all holes if you pay me. So it's, and then there's also multiple videos that I looked back on and watched, and it's so obvious. It's so obvious that she's streaming to OF and that she's distracted. Like, it's so obvious once you know, and you go back and you're like, holy shit, like, she's literally doing this right now, because you can see her adjusting herself. You can see her adjusting her other camera. You can see she's not paying attention to the live at all. She's clearly responding to messages from OF. Like, it's so blatantly obvious. And it's even more obvious because there's also 2 lives where she's streaming and she has her shirt like almost completely unbuttoned. And it's that same like red and black flannel that she has almost completely unbuttoned, and you can see her bra and her chest. She's simultaneously streaming to OF at that time. So there is no way to excuse this. There is no way to explain around how fucking disturbing and gross this is. And multiple people, there are people who have seen far more than I have. Like, there are literally people who have subscribed to her OnlyFans and have watched streams, have seen the photos, have seen far more than I have. Because I had some things sent to me after I posted in Reddit. And some of the information was sent to me by someone who had subscribed to her OF, who was a friend. And I was able to send them information and videos and screenshots that I had, and they compared it to what they saw. Because quite frankly, like, I didn't want to see this shit. I didn't want to see any more of this shit. And they were able to compare it, and they said, oh, like, I'm not going to go into like the nuanced details, but I basically kind of gave them a little bit of information to see if they could verify it without me giving them all the information, to see if they would match up without me like soliciting the information. It's kind of hard to explain, but I was basically like just giving them a little bait to see if they could just unsolicited compare to what I had and confirm it, and they were able to confirm it. They were able to confirm things that were in the videos and that were in the pictures that they would not have known unless they actually saw them, and that I was able to confirm with what I have. And I think somebody before made a really good point that if this was a cis person doing this, we would be having a completely different conversation, because this was, I have never, and I will say this, and I will say, I think this is important to know. I have never been able to confirm if minors were recorded. I have never been able to confirm if minors were recorded. I want to make that really clear, because I'm sure the transphobes are going to run with that shit. I've never been able to confirm if minors were recorded. But
I would definitely ask, like, if, because I understand that Christy and her entire following is here. I would ask Christy, listen, I would ask Christy that we can squash whatever we need to squash when it comes to GC versus the LGBTQ, when it comes to gender. Like, this is literally about bringing awareness to a situation that never needs to happen again. We're all adults, so let's be adults. And I know you all like to come on here and espouse transphobia. Let's just save it for right now, because we're actually trying to work towards a goal of mitigating harm or future harm that can happen. And I think...
Why is she in request? What is happening? What is happening?
This is my thing, right? It's disturbing the amount of people who are trying to jump into this who have absolutely nothing to fucking do with it. We can recognize that this shit is incredibly problematic, what she did, and that it was harmful and predatory. And we also recognize that there are plenty of cis people who do stuff like this and far worse. Far, far worse. But we don't demonize the entire cis community over what they do. So let's not do that because of Adora.
Also, yes. I feel like you know it's bad when, like, horrendous TERFs and our community can actually come together to agree on something. You know something was really wrong.
Yeah.
It's also Adora in request, question mark?
I'm not saying, okay. Me and Christy have our disagreements. I think we can agree on this one thing. Okay, it's outside of the trans women debate. It's outside of all of that. We're talking about a specific action that was taken on a platform that did not have age restrictions on it, where individuals, over 1,000 individuals, were subjected to something that was against their consent. I think it's really time to, like, be an adult, for real. Because I'm tired of my own community labeling me something for trying to work with other creators to mitigate harm for all peoples involved. Like, grow the fuck up, people.
That's exactly what this comes down to. This is a person who did completely inappropriate things. And again, we would never have one person represent all of a group if they weren't a marginalized group, but somehow one person who's part of a marginalized group seems to always represent that entire marginalized group, which is absolutely wild, because again, there are plenty of cis people who have done stuff like this and far worse on this app. There are plenty of cis people who have streamed horrendous shit on this app and are not representative of the whole cis community. But that's how certain people are going to take it. And there's nothing that we can do about that. And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be talking about this. This was thousands, if not tens of thousands of people who were, without their consent, streamed and recorded to OF. And I'm not exaggerating about that. Y'all know that she had at times a couple thousand people in her live. So no one consented to that.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Okay, so we do have a couple people in the box. I'm gonna be okay. Number one, my laptop is not next to me right now, so if people who send me messages, I am currently not viewing them. I'm very sorry. I was told that. Yeah, I've said this multiple times. Also, it's like basic decency and like just like y'all are intentionally choosing to be disrespectful. If you don't want to use their pronouns, call them by their name, okay, or say they. All right. So before I even consider letting Christy up on this panel, Christy, you're going to use either the pronouns that they have, or you're just going to say they or their name. Because we're having this conversation and you feel a certain type of way does not mean that we're going to allow for misgendering. So that's just the rule moving forward. In the comments, you continue to misgender, you're going to get muted. So like, just don't. Okay. Go ahead, Olive.
I'll make this so fast. I'm sorry. I just want to clarify that I absolutely detest and loathe Christy. I think she is one of the most nasty, harmful people on this app in terms of LGBT talk. I wasn't saying that like, oh yeah, we have common ground. We have something in common. I'm just saying like, I'm hoping that the entirety of all communities can understand that the topic at hand is a very important topic, and we can put certain things to the side for a moment to discuss the fact that what has happened is incredibly harmful. I wasn't like defending Christy. I still think she's absolutely terrible. Sorry, just wanted to clarify that. Sorry.
See, I also think the same, but I am also willing to be able to bring awareness to mitigate harm, because like Nerdy said earlier, this one instance was the one instance was caught. That doesn't mean that there are multiple thousands of other victims that were subjugated to that without even knowing.
I'll also be honest, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to the gender criticals. Like, let's just have a real open, honest, transparent conversation here. None of it matters that it only happened once with one person. Not once, but like with one person. None of that matters to gender criticals, because they have been running with this like it is a epidemic within the trans community. And it doesn't matter what we say or don't say, they're still going to use this as a reason to be transphobic. So I don't see what productive conversation can come from that, because I've literally seen this in gender critical spaces be used as a reason to demonize multiple trans people. Like, wait, AGP is now just like rampant across gender critical spaces because of this.
I wasn't saying we should bring her up though. That I'm sorry.
Oh no, I wasn't saying that either. No, I'm just stating like my view on this. But look, fuck all my view, right? I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. I'm just sharing my 2 cents.
Well, Nerdy, I just want to say though too. I mean, this actually though comes back to Adora, because Adora knew where they were in attention to the, in particular attention to the crowd that she drew. All right, they knew the amount of people that were on their platform, and yet, despite of that, all right, knowing better, Adora still did this dumb shit. And like the thing about it is that there was like no good purpose. Like even if Adora has an OF platform, what would make somebody who does what they do on TikTok stream at the same time? It's just ridiculous.
All right. Is there anyone? Hold up. We still have other people in the box. So does anybody?
I'll jump. I'm going to probably go live to continue this conversation in the next few minutes. I appreciate you having me up here, and I appreciate the conversations that have been had.
That's fair. Thank you for being here. Go ahead, Lily.
There's 2 things I want to touch upon. One was a comment that was made here. Throwing SA around like it's nothing. We don't know people's experiences. We don't know what they've been through, particularly because that was in the direction of myself. I'm not throwing that word around. I'm not going to touch on that any further, but I have publicly said on this app like what I've been through before, so I find it disgusting. And if you're not ready to acknowledge that that's what this is virtually, then how on earth can we move forward on it? from it, and allow for the people who have to take accountability to hold themselves accountable. And I think not only Adora, but those platforming, paneling with, or supporting her should honestly do the same and get off on this app. Get off of this app. And then I also just wanted to touch upon in Adora's live.
Lily, there was one thing earlier that I brought up about creating a space to bring Adora up in order to be able to try to get some semblance of the truth. Now, I understand your view about not paneling her, but I was thinking about getting a group of individuals that are able to intellectually and in an adult-like manner try to get to the bottom of the answer and try to see if we can have a conversation.
I don't see, with all due respect, I don't see any point. She ran away. She gave a half-assed apology, tried to pass it off as educational, and then a couple days later held a live claiming she didn't know, and then she can't remember. And there is a second point I want to add to this, but in response to what you said, there is no point. I don't think we should try and make the predator ask the victims of this to sit in a room with that person. I think she just needs to go. I think if you're going to hold her live on this, why give her the space to lie and continuously hurt people in the process of that? The damage is done, and yes, others should be made aware of her actions so she can't try and continue to monetize off of this after taking her sabbatical. But yeah, I see no point in platforming her. The second point I wanted to touch upon, particularly sorry, I forgot my camera's on. The second point I wanted to touch upon is the weaponization of mental health, especially in Adora's live, and something that has been quite apparent more recently. In this space, particularly when people are being held to account for their actions or called out, and also just the weaponization of bullying. Marginalized people don't owe you civility when they call you out for your racism, your whitey supremacy, your anti-blackness, and the other isms and phobias that you perpetuate. You can suffer from a mental health issue, but still do a shitty thing and make a mistake. Mental health does not rid you responsibility of that mistake. So I think it's disgusting that this is happening in 4K and you guys are also hurting people who suffer with mental health issues. This is how stereotypes get perpetuated. This is what people who, do suffer with mental health issues are trying to actively fight against. I have, since I was a child, tried to fight against these stereotypes, and I've done activism in that space since I was very young. So to see it still happening over 10 years later is disgusting. And from people who are over 10 years older than me or in their near 30s, I don't understand it. I don't. But Isaac, look, if you need to drop me, I'm cool to drop. I'm also happy to stay because I've got a book of things written down. But yeah.
All right. I just quick note, since some people are dense in the comments, right? So yeah, no one's being added to this panel for any type of clout. All right. And just because some of y'all are afraid to engage in conversations with these people doesn't mean I am. So keep your projection to yourself. All right. It has no place over here. I don't understand why we have to make this like a demonizing situation when we're talking about something that has actually affected people. You bitches cannot get over this whole like my side, your side type shit. It's childish. And not in a good way. It's childish and not in a good way.
Have you read some of these comments about me bringing up that we should work together with people to try to like combat this problem? Like, it's fucking crazy.
Like, we're here to address an actual issue. And yes, there are people that we disagree with and are incredibly transphobic and homophobic and racist. And they're complicit in all the isms and the phobias, right? we're not necessarily discussing that right now.
And by the way, I just want to say that underscore queen, like I'm not trying to shut you down in any way. You can do what you want, but that was just my personal view of it, and I wasn't trying to like be aggressive towards you in any way, or you know what I mean. That was just my personal thoughts on it. But yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, with this happening, like when I brought up this conversation before this all started, my original question was if I should host a space with people that were able to calmly ask the questions that needed to be asked in order to get a semblance of an answer, because I'm in community with a bunch of women that have been victimized from this situation that want me to address this trans woman. And so as a trans person, I do feel like these people have looked out for me, have advocated for me. These women have really gone to bat for me, and they're asking me to hold this one trans person accountable for what they did because they're back on the app. And that's what the original question is about. I've been listening to everybody. I still don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, this seems like maybe we can come to a semblance of maybe like working towards a goal of holding this person accountable, mitigating any future harm, recognizing, Brandon, I hate to say it like that, Brandon, but recognizing that the act in which they did was completely wrong and inappropriate on every fucking level.
I agree. I've always agreed with that. I never said it was right in any stance. I always said that that was incorrect. They should be held accountable for that, for the action that was taken. I also want to say, I came into this live not really having all the information that was presented. So I appreciate everyone kind of explaining like all sides. I'm not saying that I would need to have all sides in order to believe a victim, but I appreciate that.
Do you have the proof of me being a transphobe yet?
Yeah, this is a different conversation.
No, this has always been the conversation.
No, this is
display
literally
the
a different
evidence.
cover. I haven't even looked. I will find it if you want. I can hold an entire. Listen. I can hold an entire live about it if you want.
No, I would just
Wouldn't
like
that be cyberbullying?
because I didn't do anything. Right?
No. If this is what you, if
hang
you
on,
want,
hang
if
on.
you
You
want to be
held a
centered,
live saying call out lives are cyberbullying. So wouldn't that be cyberbullying?
I am not addressing this right now because I'm not looking for this.
I would like to be able to call out anti-blackness and peace, and you accuse me of being a transphobe.
I'm focused on this matter at hand because literally,
respectfully, why are you here? How are you involved in this?
What does that even mean?
I'm asking how you're involved in this because I've been listening to this live for quite a while and you keep saying that you don't know what's going on. You weren't condoning this. You weren't familiar with it. Why are you here?
Because I came into a live of my friend Isaac and the entire comment section was about me. Talking about my character.
About this subject that has nothing to do
I have not said one word about this fucking subject. I've never said the word Adora off of this live.
Oh, that's an
didn't say that Adora
I've never talked about Adora.
You didn't say Adora was bullied off this app with Tweener?
No,
you didn't say that?
I didn't.
You and Tweener both said that.
No,
I
will bet you $100 I didn't say that.
Okay.
Find the clip.
So you didn't have Mel and Tweener up defending their actions while actively talking about their involvement with Adora.
I never said I agree with.
You didn't have like a 4-hour live talking about this.
About accountability?
But wait, you just said you want to hold a whole live against Drea, but you on that live, the accountability or anti-cyberbullying live as you call it, didn't you? Sorry, my love, Drea. Didn't you say that
Lily,
holding
I'm not
call
debating.
out? I'm not done. I'm
debating
just
with
asking
you.
a question. It's
I'm
a
not
clarifying
debating.
question.
You're just
I'm clarifying.
You're just going into debate mode. And
I'm
not
asking
debating
a clarifying
with you.
question. Hey, Brandon,
I'm not
we're not one to
debating
talk about
with you.
debate mode, so
You're not
don't even
debating
start
with
there.
I'm not debating.
Didn't you say that? Didn't you hold an entire live?
Yet you watch every debate I hold, Lily. You're on every single. You're in the chat every single debate I hold. So why?
Yeah, Car Crash TV can be entertaining sometimes.
I don't even know what that's supposed to mean.
Brandon, you came into this live when I posed the question on if I should host space for Adora to hold her accountable. So obviously, you have some kind of inclination, or you have some type of feeling that Adora doesn't need to be held accountable. Because I think about the answers to your question. I bring up the dilation being pleasurable after a certain period of time, and you keep framing it as a medical procedure and a maintenance procedure for our vaginas in order to downplay the significance of the action taken.
Sure.
And so that's a repeated thing that's happened. And I've actually done it about 6 times to downplay the actions of Adora. You keep saying you don't know, yet you've heard from multiple individuals that there is proof. I have watched the video with my own eyes, but you're unwilling to take that because, well, I guess we're just not. I mean, we have been acquaintances for almost 1.5 years now.
Sure.
Okay, I've talked on your panel. I've advocated with you. I've advocated for you. Like,
I'm not. If I could like get the sentence out with it being attacked by 7 people on the panel, I literally.
Attacked is wild.
Okay. So I'll just stop talking. Go ahead, Nerdy.
I'd just also like to say that if you say attacked in reference to a black person, that's a microaggression. Fun fact.
I'm just gonna. You know what, Brandon? You have been drinking fucking Adora's bathwater.
I've never had a conversation with Adora.
You've been drinking Adora's bathwater.
What?
As long as I fucking known you.
I've never said the name Adora.
Times on Tweener, casting doubt and freaking just trying to minimize this whole thing. And you know what? The fact that you're lying, fuck you. You're lying.
That's wild.
And that's why you fucking lost America.
That's wild.
Fuck you.
Okay, calm down, Bitron. I've literally.
Yeah, let's not tell trans women to calm down, and let's not say that you're getting attacked.
No, that's just a wild accusation. Hold on. I do.
That you're coming up here You've been centering yourself throughout this live and victimizing yourself.
I'm not centering myself.
You had nothing to do with it. Then why are you up here if you have nothing to do with it?
Again, if my character is being attacked in the chat and on a live panel, I will fucking come up and defend my character.
Too bad, so sad.
So should I? Okay, well, welcome to TikTok as well. Like, what the fuck do you want me to do? Just sit back and let people attack my character? I'm going to defend my own character. I mean, that's all we do, right? No, that's all we do is we defend our character, right? We don't advocate for our community. We're consistently just defending our character.
Because you're putting yourself into a space that has nothing to do with you.
I've always been anti-cyberbullying, correct?
No.
I've not been.
Because you held a live talking about being anti-cyberbullying while actively cyberbullying. And then you sitting on this live saying that you're going to host a live about a black woman.
To who? Tabby.
Because you're butthurt about it.
I'm focused on one fucking thing. I have like 7 people attacking me right now. I'm not looking for receipts.
Why are you threatening to host a live about Dre with the receipts that you've yet to show?
We can have a literal separate event that we're talking about.
You accuse a black woman of being transphobic because she's calling out your and Tweener's and Mel and Adora's anti-blackness. That's the same conversation.
It's not.
1 second, Brandon. We have other people with their hands up.
Yeah, really quickly. So Artemis was first, and then Kaiser.
I came up much earlier in this conversation to speak, and because I didn't have anything else to add, but I do have to add to this. Brendan, I watched your live on cyberbullying. You did say that Adora was bullied off this app, along with Tweener. Both of you said this from your mouth. I was there. If you would like me to go track down the clip somewhere off of Reddit, I can do that for you, but you also have the recording and can look at this yourself. You did say this.
Wait, I don't have the record. Oh, you mean in my actual live, my TikTok?
Yes.
Yeah, I can look back. I'm almost guaranteeing you I did. And if anyone said anything, I made it very clear when I did this live, names would not be mentioned. And Tweener came on and said Adora's name. I did not. I said I don't want to mention names. I want to keep this very just about cyberbullying. I'm not making this about a certain topic or a certain person or a certain people group. I'm talking about cyberbullying. Period. I'm not making this about, and I made that very clear to everyone on the panel several times that night. I said, I don't want to name names about anyone. This is just about cyberbullying.
I do remember you saying that. However, names did get brought up. I'm being told that the evidence is in the Tweener snark, which I'm going through right now, and I can find that for you. Like I said, it's going to take some time. But
yeah, I'd love to see it. I could be wrong. I don't think I am.
But here's the thing, right? I'm an individual who has taken accountability on this app. It is not supposed to be easy. You don't just get to fucking disappear and come back and act like nothing's wrong and make a video where you turn the comments off and your victims and other people who are affected can't say anything. This whole shit has been absolutely fucking ridiculous because now I've been deemed to have a cult. By the way, I don't. Anybody that is critical of certain people on this app immediately are discounted. Like, I don't fucking get it. You know, if someone were to come up to me and say, hey, you said this, I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to accept that at your word. I'm going to go see if I said it. But if you said I said that, then I said that. That's how accountability works. And it has just been nothing but fucking tooth and nail this whole time up here. It's like, this is disappointing.
Wait, so wait, hold on. You just said when someone says something about you, you just believe them?
No, I said I accept what they're telling me, and then I go look for it. Because I'm not going to sit here and deny if someone says, if I said something like racist, I'm not going to sit there and go, no, I didn't say something racist. I'm going to go, you know what? I'm going to respect what you're telling me, and I'm going to go look for that. I'm sorry if something I said affected you. It's how you take accountability. You don't just sit there and go, well, I need to see evidence. I need to see everything. Nerdy has gone over this like 10 times on this app. And the fact that she had to go over it again is ridiculous.
I mean, I had never seen it. I had never been on that panel. I apologize. Like I made it very clear that I don't have the information. People were giving me information. I changed my position since coming on this app, but now it's all like gang up on Brandon Day. I don't know what the fuck is happening. I changed my position.
I'm so fucking so I've been on panels where I've had to listen to everybody be critical of something I have said. If you don't want to be up here, no one is holding you hostage.
It is not gang up on Brandon Day. It is literally, you came up here to address the conversation. The conversation was about holding Adora accountable for the action that she took. You joined this panel out of your own volition in order to enter this conversation because your name was getting brought up for supporting Adora in some sort of way. We are giving you information to show you why you should support Adora. The same way that we give people about Mr. Frumpy and everything Mr. Frumpy has done to E. Jean Carroll, the same way that we are giving that evidence and showing that, hey, this person has actually caused great harm, you are doing the same thing by reducing it into like it's not even a problem. But once Artemis is done, I'm pretty sure Kiza's like up next. I'm not going to intrude anymore, but like, please, it's not a Brandon attack session. You came up here in your own volition. You inserted yourself in this conversation. And the conversation really is, we need to make sure that Adora doesn't cause any further harm than she has already caused.
And I'm only up here to validate that I did hear this from your live. So, and I would make the case that ignoring every single person who has felt harmed by multiple people on this app and calling it cyberbullying anytime someone has an issue is a form of cyberbullying.
I didn't say that.
You are invalidating people's experiences. You have invalidated my fucking experiences.
I never said that.
Yes, you have, because I've talked to you privately.
No, that's actually incorrect. People apply.
Really? Hey, Isaac, quick question.
Hold on.
Because Isaac was there for that fucking conversation.
No,
You're not going to gaslight me. Hey, Isaac.
I'm not gaslighting you. What the fuck? Did we have a
conversation with Brandon about certain people on this app, about things they did?
Yes.
Thank you.
That didn't prove anything. What?
Isaac was in the conversation. It was the three of us. You like this stuff handled privately, but then you come up on these lives and you act fucking innocent. You know shit and you act like you don't know.
Is this private anymore, or is this a public in front of 527 people?
You're lying. You're sitting here lying.
What am I lying about, Artemis?
You know things about people, and you're acting like you are completely naive and have no freaking idea.
We didn't talk about Adora during that conversation, did we?
No, but you and I spoke about Mel, and you've repeatedly defended her just as much as you did on that accountability live that RT is referring to. And I have the screenshots of every single text of you talking about Mel, and also the phone calls, not recorded, but the screenshots and the timestamps of them.
Okay, great. I don't know what this is proving nothing. Hold on. If people, can I just say one thing?
Give Kiza space to speak, because Kiza.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead, Kiza. Sorry.
Her hand up, or their hand up. I don't remember your pronouns, Kiza.
They, them. Thank you. I just want to address something here. Brandon, I do apologize that it came off that I was attacking you, because I don't think I've addressed you even once during this live. I addressed the aspect of how what Adora was Smex's work. So I don't really take kindly to the aggression of all 7 individuals here in this live are attacking you, because I'm definitely not doing that. I will say, though, using the statement, if she did these things, is really extreme. And I say this in the most polite way that I can, but if isn't the right word to use here, because Adora quite literally said in her accountability video that she did do these things and that she was aware that she did these things, and then cut off the live video for OF, but continued on the live stream on TikTok while it was going on. She even admitted these things in the accountability video, still took no accountability for it. Did you watch the live that she did recently? I'm just asking.
The recent one?
Yes.
No, I was working at the time.
Okay, well, there were a multitude of people that were victims whose voices were heard, went up there, asked her the specific question of why did you think it was okay to do both at the same time? She went around it, said she didn't have answers, that she told exactly all that she could based off of the accountability video, and was basically blaming it on a mental illness known as DID, which I don't know if you know this, but that's extremely harmful towards individuals that do have DID. It's also extremely harmful towards individuals who are trying to have their voices heard to get the understanding of why the fuck she did it in the first place, because that is invalidating consent of other individuals. So while I'm not a victim person, right, I'm not the person that's at fault here. My voice has never been heard on those things. I am seeing these stories said. I am seeing what's being said. To lock it behind a paywall where people have to subscribe in order to say their grievances is disgusting in itself. What I will say is those individuals deserve to have their fucking voices heard, but they couldn't because they were laughed away and told to get over it because it was a silly mistake. So it's not a if it happened. It did happen, Brandon. And there's no reason why any support should go her way. I don't know if you do. I'm not going to say that you do or don't. What I'm going to say is that woman should not have a platform. And it is not cyberbullying for us to talk about the fact that she should not have a platform because she took away the voices of so many fucking people who went up there to address it. And then she locked it behind a paywall to subscribe to talk to her. Right. That is repulsive. It is silencing voices. And as someone who's had their voice silenced, I don't fucking support it. With this being said, Isaac, I am dropping down for my mental health.
Thank you.
Okay. I changed my stance then on Adora. I was in the middle ground on Adora, and I'm changing my stance, and I'm doing this publicly.
Fucking God, Brandon! Finally, thank you, fucking God.
No, this is the thing. Like, I've listened to every single person, and like the problem is when the personal attacks start happening, I get very defensive, and I won't listen, and that's totally on me. It's totally my fault. I've changed my stance on this, and I apologize. I do apologize. I'm being genuinely serious here. I came up in a very defensive mode, not excusing what I was saying. But when you have people, like every other comment is about me and my character, I was centering myself, and for that I apologize. And I will change my stance, and if Adora comes back and says things, I will, we'll see what happens. But at this point, I think she needs to
help mitigate the harm, please.
Right.
Because I was there. There are plenty of people that were there at the beginning of Adora's platform. I helped Adora build that platform. I helped her start. I gave her my following. When I was advocating, when she first started.
Demi, are you there? See your teacupping currently. Whew, child. Well, this was not on my to-do list today.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is Mel still watching?
I have no idea.
Next question.
Go ahead.
What's transphobic about me bringing up anti-blackness?
Say that again.
What is transphobic about me bringing up anti-blackness that was perpetuated on multiple spaces?
I'm gonna say this, right? People can get mad at me if they want to, right? when it comes to the defense of certain individuals, it's just very interesting the demographics that are defending them. And this is not targeting anyone in particular. So this is not about you, Brandon, but just overall, it's interesting because y'all are doing exactly what you get accused of, is that when it comes time to address something, you want to bring up something else as a way to deflect, right? So
like racism. When it's time to address racism, y'all bring up what?
It's 100% minimizing.
I'm bisexual.
You're minimizing and trivializing the anti-blackness that people are trying to call out by using other isms, isophobias, right? It's weaponization. It needs to stop. All right. Definitely everybody, because I've said this multiple times, everybody can do better as far as like their education as to not engage in these harmful things. But that doesn't mean that all of a sudden we get to tit for tat when we're trying to address something. Like it's unproductive. It causes the division that we say we don't want. And it also goes to prove the point when someone is calling out this thing that you are still engaging in this thing by deflecting to something. My thoughts on it. So I understand, again, trans people, you want your advocates and your allies. Great. As BIPOC people who are also queer, we just don't want anti-blackness being tolerated and or permitted in spaces.
Exactly.
Because you allow for harm to us and you don't care. You don't give a damn because it doesn't affect you.
It's a part of what Adora did that's not being brought up, actually.
Oh yeah, no.
I mean, if
yeah,
if you want to talk about the rampant racism, right? I've got receipts on that shit too.
Yeah, I brought that up earlier because I made a point of like saying if anybody's going to hold a space, I really think that Black trans women should be made prioritized in those spaces because their voices were never heard.
Yep. And they were mocked. Let's be clear that they were mocked. They were mocked. And in general, BIPOC people were mocked multiple times going on to Adora's panel by Adora herself and other people like Mel, like they who shall not be named.
Would you all like to share those receipts?
Well, I would want Demi to be able to go, but we can.
Oh, I didn't realize Demi came back. I'm so sorry.
Nope, you're good.
No, it's okay. I probably should be sleeping anyway. I am in the hospital with very good medication. But I wanted to touch on something very, very important, and a few individuals did touch on it. And that's specifically downplaying the dilation and subverting the fact that this was supposed to be helping an individual. First and foremost, is dilation absolutely is something that is part of a medical necessity. After around between 2 and 4 months, it becomes pleasurable. That is what it does. So, first and foremost, you are literally doing something for pleasure and you're putting it on screen. But what I really wanted to bring up is if...
What the...
What just happened?
I think something happened with her service because, and that's why she fell off the panel first time, so just bring her back.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would say I didn't get a message or anything.
I mean, there are multiple people who have far more receipts than like me or Artemis do that go back ages. Oh, Demi's back. Okay. Yeah. Demi. Huh?
Right. What I'm really trying to get at is I keep hearing this argumentation, and I've heard a few different things, is this was to help another trans individual. This was to show them what they would be going through for after surgery. Okay, fine. It never needed to be on OF. Make that video and talk with that individual in a one-to-one. That video never needed to go on OF. That video never needed to be done while you're doing a TikTok live. There is no excuse for this in any way, shape, or form. I have educated individuals in a appropriate manner on what dilation is like in direct messages. I have done it on a subscriber only live where I specifically asked everybody in the room, all 85 people that were in there at the time, is it okay if I explain this in very basic scientific terms? There is a correct way to do these things, and there is an incorrect way to do these things. And that is what I have a huge problem with, is it was done incorrectly. No accountability has ever been taken. And the simple fact that people are literally trying to make excuse after excuse to try and excuse something that is inexcusable gives me the same bullshit, and I've said it earlier, as Trump supporters would Trump. There is nothing Trump can do wrong that they won't excuse. And that is what I am seeing happening right now, over and over.
Hey, Demi.
Yes.
I am sorry if I made you and Z upset earlier, but I hope you see why I'm like so aggressive on making sure that this gets done.
No, and that was what I was trying to tell you, is I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you the correct path to go forward. The correct path for me is not allowing her in any of my spaces. I'm sorry, I have my nurse in here. I'm going to go on mute.
You're fine.
Thank you, Demi.
Okay. I know Echo. What did it say that you said? You said you had something in chat, Echo.
Yeah. So I have the screenshots where someone had a conversation 2 weeks ago at this point with AB, one of Adora's mods, Brandon, if you don't know. She talks about the streaming to OF that people were heard. They're downplaying the numbers of times that it happened. And she talks about why Adora was dilating on live. And why she did it to OF. So, I mean, Brandon, it sounds very much like you're changing sides, like you're not defending her just because you're getting held accountable for what you were saying.
That's 100% incorrect. Are you recording this, Echo?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't take any moral advice from someone who profits off the backs of minorities for bullying.
Your stance has changed because of the multiple accounts of individuals telling you what Adora has done. I mean, obviously you have kind of a skewed understanding of Adora because your advocacy started a little bit at the end cap of Adora's reign on TikTok.
Right.
And so a lot of us that saw Adora start from the beginning to where Adora ended up at the end, and the multiple instances of racism as well as what they did that was inappropriate. Are you saying that your stance has changed because you have heard this evidence and because you have come to an understanding?
For sure. Yeah, like I said, I was told one story about the situation. And then from that story, I didn't see that as harmful. And then coming on the panel and realizing that it was more of the story than what I knew, I changed my stance.
Nerdy, I know you have your hand up.
Go ahead, Nerdy.
So it's really annoying that I even have to ask this because I am so done centering you. Brandon, have you ever held lives talking about trans people?
Yes.
Okay. Do you accept gifts during those lives?
Yes.
Okay. So when you say profiting off the backs of marginalized groups, what do you mean?
I would. That's different. That's the education it's educational. It's for educational purposes to expand the reach of advocating for the trans community.
So you get paid to provide the education.
Yeah,
that trans people and people who are involved in the community.
Yeah,
should be getting paid for.
I don't just record drama because it gets views. It's not.
No,
what I
I'm
do.
asking you because I have problems with that as well, right? But if we're gonna call people out, if you're taking money for lives that you're hosting about marginalized communities that you are not a part of, let's not call other people out.
I'm a part of LGBTQIA.
Are you trans?
Yeah, how many trans people do you platform to speak on behalf of trans issues when they are when they arise with the opposition. Because I have noticed, to be honest with you, you speak a lot about trans women on your panel, yet you do not have a trans woman on your panel to speak on the behalf of the trans community.
Sure, yeah, I always try to have a trans person on the panel.
I won't say that Brandon always does, but I will vouch that he always brings me up when he's talking trans topics.
Do you give Demi that money?
The 35 cents? I mean, I can.
It's not 35 cents. You made far more money during that call out live. Let's not lie here.
The call out live, I made like no money during the call out live. Wait, the accountability live?
Yeah, just to do a fact
not correct.
Just to do a fact check really quickly, a Galaxy will get you anywhere from $3 to $5. Just throwing that out there.
Sure.
And also the multiple guests on the panel who reached over a couple K coins. Your hosts will earn 30% of the earnings that the guests get.
I know. I'm such a horrible person. Even
Why is it you always respond to what I say, but not anyone else?
Because every single person here has not accepted a single dollar on TikTok, right? We're just all
I'm just clarifying
toxic perfectionism.
I made a clarifying point for the audience, myself included. When a guest gets gifted on my panel, just like everyone else here, we get about 30%.
Sure. Okay. I don't like what is
why you're upset when you
specifically
called Echo out about this, and now that the heat's being turned back on you, you say it's different.
I have no problem with Echo hosting a live, advocating for the community. I have a problem with Echo recording these lives because it gets them views and clout. I don't like.
You said
that.
making money off the back of marginalized groups,
I'm
and that
not
is literally
doing.
what
I'm
you're
not
doing.
doing this for clout. I'm doing this for
You're making
advocating
money off
for
the
my
back of
community.
marginalized groups that you are not a part of.
Wait, hold on, Nerdy. Can I ask Echo a clarifying question? Echo, how many subscribers are on your YouTube?
Probably less than 100. And
Less than
my
100?
video
Okay, then they're not making a dime. You have to have 1,000. You have to have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube to be monetized. So Echo's not making a dime posting these on YouTube.
On TikTok.
Also, Brandon. Oh, love that, Brandon. So here is my receipt that I screenshotted this morning. After I exchanged coins from the live that I did yesterday, where I made, 87 cents it looks like? It was literally like less than $2. And you know what I do? I have posted receipts. Lily, hold on. I've posted receipts where when I called out Planet Peterson with Irish, I went around and re-gifted all those coins back out to trans creators and primarily BIPOC trans women.
Exactly.
Like,
And that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. I make $46 every 2 hours on my lives. I gift it to my friend Kira Lynn's sister, who is a cisgendered woman. She has just gone into young adulthood. Kira Lynn was a 17-year-old Black trans woman that unfortunately unalived herself because she was bullied on this app and other.
Kindly, Brandon, you're the cis person making money off the back of the trans communities.
I'm gay.
But this is what I'm saying.
You're
is that
cis.
when it comes to advocacy, right? You should approach advocacy with only one motivation. It's not the views. It's not the likes. It's not the fucking clout. It's being able to humanize the individuals that are being victimized.
I agree.
And because we weren't able to humanize us enough, I lost my friend Carolyn, and her mom lost an amazing daughter, and no one speaks about them.
I'm sorry.
Sending hugs, Lily. Brandon, I feel like you're flipping your stance just because you're being put under pressure.
I'm not. Listen, I don't know why I'm the op here. Literally, I'll tell you what. I'll let whoever talks next. I want the person to whoever talks next after me. That you have not received one fucking dollar from TikTok. Go ahead. I'll wait.
Me.
You haven't received $1.
I haven't received $1. I have
Okay.
receipts for this, and I've actually talked about this quite a bit, that I actively tell people not to gift me, and any gifts that I receive, I turn right back into coins. The only time that I've ever turned it into money is when I sent it to a creator for a mutual aid. I have never made a single penny.
And that's great. Good for you. Good for you. How many hours are you on the app?
Quite a few. This is part
Every
of my
day?
advocacy. This is part of my advocacy as a licensed clinical social worker and a member of WPATH.
Wait,
this
every
is part
day?
of my work. Every day? No.
Oh, okay. So maybe if someone who does it every day for work, then maybe we can let them make some money so they
Your
can
work is
stay and
profiting off of
advocate.
marginalized communities?
Advocating so I don't have to get another job, right?
Why can't you go get another job?
I've spent my life advocating, Brandon, and I've never made a single dime doing it. Like, that is why
I know. Yeah, just go. You know what?
I don't know why you're exasperated.
Demonize
because
me
you brought this
next.
up.
Go ahead. Cancel me next.
You
Do it.
asked this question. And I'm responding to this question.
I never said people who go on and advocate and do conversations and have debates are doing this off of the back of minority groups. I said someone who's recording the drama to post the drama just so people can watch it for views and
You
clout
said
is
making money off
problematic.
the backs of marginalized groups. Do not gaslight me. That is
I'm
what
not.
you said to
I'm not
Echo.
gaslighting. That's what they are doing.
You're literally mad because shit is getting clipped, so you and people like Adora.
I don't care. Clip as much shit as you want. I don't give a fuck. What do I care?
If you don't care, why are you here?
Exactly.
What is it for you?
Who assigned
scare him off. He still needs
who
to
assigned
show
you the
the
title of
proof
advocate?
of
I'm
my
just
transphobia.
curious.
This is the problem, and this is why I hold the anti-cyberbullying lives is because everyone here. No, it is because the demand for toxic perfectionism. You don't accept apologies, but you just you're just doing it just to harm like individuals. I just don't like. Eventually, the system will cave in on itself, and every single person here will be canceled. And we will lose
anti-racism.
We will lose a voice.
I demand anti-racism.
What a privileged viewpoint.
Wait, I have a very valid question asking Lily. I'm going to need you here. Brandon, will you hold anybody who cyberbullies responsible?
Yes.
So I have evidence of Tweener harassing me in lives.
I've got all the screenshots.
Will you hold Tweener responsible for cyberbullying me?
Yes.
So what about
Will
what
you
happened?
hold Tweener response? Sorry, will you? I've got the screenshots of that by the way because it was in my live. Will you hold Tweener responsible for coming into my live and attacking my? Making threats, allowing their server to attack me, my character, and apparently my family as well, which I've got the screenshots of before one of the mods kicked. Yeah, you actually texted like not long after in that one. And also, what else? Oh yeah, the 6v1 live, and I don't have an issue with Echo here today, but the 6v1 live, so it's funny you have a problem with Echo now, considering your participation in that live, and I said to you in a text after that marginalized communities do not owe you civility, which is on topic with what we're talking about now, but also the live that you held after, which again is going against marginalized communities when they're trying to call out an issue. You think that that's bullying. What's the misconflation here for you?
I mean, I just got up here. Hey, Isaac, but like the way that you treated Tabby, that was pretty fucking weird.
Yeah, that was
probably one of these days. You should probably do something about that, don't you think?
I publicly apologized to Tabby, and I also sent Tabby a message.
You did say you apologize. Yeah, I know that, but it was shit. So here's what I'm saying, right? Like you saying that you don't associate with you're saying that you don't associate with people who cyberbully and shit, but your friend does it, and you guys do it. You do it to ops, so I guess it doesn't matter how they feel, but you still kind of do it.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
I don't
weird to me
advocate
that you
for
give
that.
a fuck about cyberbullying, and that you're claiming you're being cyberbullied. Have you ever tried unplugging your modem? Just turning off the fucking computer? Instead of doing this bullshit?
What does that even mean?
I'm telling you, right?
Your
To grow
Wi-Fi
the fuck
modem,
up.
eh?
Because the way that you treat people. Yeah, your router. The way that you treat people and the way that I've seen you treat people, the way that you treated Tabby and your bullshit apology, the way that you treat racism, and the way that you want to call yourself an advocate is fucking pathetic. And and I don't even like Echo. I think Echo's a fucking grifter. But the fact that you would make that comment about how Echo is suddenly just doing this for entertainment, as if your accountability lives are any different, it's It's a little bit silly, don't you think?
Wait, I don't hold accountability lives.
You tried to though. You're cyberbullying lives. I'm sorry, you changed the name. Therefore, it's better when you do it.
No, it's anti.
Yeah, you're
like, call out lives.
anti-cyberbullying lives. So it's different now. It's definitely not the same thing, even though they do the exact same thing. You still get people harassing people. You still get people harassing people like Tabby simply for trying to stand up against racism. Hot take, but I really feel like you should one of these days really sincerely apologize for that. And before you want to get on somebody else's ass about making money off the app,
Wait,
you
how do
do
I
it too, babe.
how do I apologize to Tabby without because I sent her an actual private message sincerely apologizing,
you know what?
and then I made the public and then I made the public statement that I apologized to Tabby. It was not the right time for that conversation to happen, and I took accountability for that. I don't.
But did you, right? Because you still
Yeah.
hang out with somebody who still did that, who won't apologize for that behavior. So I'm just saying, as somebody who cares about cyberbullying and harassment and like treating people like shit, if you really care about that, it's strange to still associate yourself with somebody who does that. Why do you do
You
that?
still brought up Tabby in your anti-cyberbullying live after you apologized, quote unquote.
Why do you do that?
And saying that her live bringing up Mal's racism was bullying. Like, that's not bullying. That's calling out racism.
Sure. The whole live, the anti-accountability live was not intended for any specific person. It was just for the anti call out lives. I think there was a better way to do it. That was my only stance.
But again, you don't stand by your word. You said that this is about anti-cyberbullying.
Right.
Tabby is still consistently being cyberbullied by Tweener. But I mean, like, for somebody who gives a shit about protecting people from anti-cyberbullying, me personally, Geek is one of my friends in the comments. If Geek does some shit I don't stand by, I'm cutting her off. I'm not here to tell you what to do with Tweener, but I just think it's really fucking ironic to get on everybody else's ass about cyberbullying, but then my bestie's gonna cyberbully and I'm gonna just close my eyes and I can't see, I'm blind.
Do you know the conversations I have with Tweener behind closed doors?
They're apparently not really good because it's still happening, right? The behavior is still continuing.
But that's not. First of all, if Tweener does something, I can't control Tweener, right?
Sure, absolutely.
That's not on me. Tweener's actions are not my actions.
Definitely.
Have I cyberbullied?
No, but I'm just saying, you're saying that you're somebody who stands against this. This
Yeah.
is a bad thing. It goes against your morality. But it doesn't really matter when my friend does it. So do you actually give a shit about it? Which is fine. You don't have to care about it. I just think it's kind of interesting that you always go on this moral high ground of like anti-cyberbully. But like not when my friend does it.
Oh no,
Also,
no, I hold that.
Anti-blackness.
No,
Also that, too.
I hold that stance. I panel with a trans non-binary black person, so I don't know what
Your words and actions perpetuate anti-blackness. You literally calling how black people call out racism, cyberbullying is anti-black.
Is anti-black.
I'm so sorry.
No, I never said
attacking
that.
you and you did.
You
literally
did, though. You tried to turn it around and make out to be what Tabby did. When you jumped into this weird thing of like this weird idea that she's a part of some cult, which is fucking crazy. To try and say a black woman can't think for herself and she's only coming up with these ideas because she's in a fucking cult. Maybe it didn't come out of your mouth, but you were very much standing by the side of people that were doing it, and you also agreed to it.
So you're holding me accountable for other people's
I'm not even holding you accountable. I don't know you,
actions.
sir. I'm not holding you accountable. I'm saying you did this, right? This isn't even somebody else's actions.
Did
You
I
stood
say
by-
that?
You stood by and you agreed and continued with the narrative that when Tabby was hosting her live, it was for the sake of cyberbullying and this stupid narrative, because you did say this. You absolutely did say this ridiculous narrative that you have that you need to be perfect. And you did it again just now too, which is crazy because I think I came in when Artemis told you not to do that shit.
Really quickly, I'm just expanding, Lily. I'm gonna unmute the people talking.
Yeah, I can get the screenshots in reference to what Artemis was talking to. I just have to send them over to this device. However, I think the spreading of false narratives around other creators would certainly be a contribution to cyberbullying, as we've seen publicly on live, and also I've got here privately. If you were to read the chat, and you can see that I was being honest, where I already said to you that marginalised people do not owe you civility. That was all I wanted to add for now. But yeah, I'm happy to get the screenshots in reference to what Artemis was talking about too, since we're trying to say we're not doing things when clearly we were, because it was in a public setting. Brandon, anything to say about call out lives were created by Andy?
Am I? Oh, can we talk? I didn't know we were able to talk at the same time.
I gave you the invite on you.
Yeah, I believe the first call out live on TikTok was Andy.
Be so serious.
No, I think it was.
Prove it.
I think in the LGBTQ space,
This
I
app
think
is
it was
13
Andy.
years old. Please be very serious.
No, I know. I honestly believe that was the first LGBTQ call out live. I mean, you can prove me wrong, I guess. I don't know.
It's a positive claim. Like, prove it. Like, it's the most ridiculous thing ever.
There's the debates.
You would know. But anyway.
So I do have a couple of people in the request again. Give me like yes. So Artemis, you're actually next. So you'll be going next. I know that there's been a couple of other things. I'm gonna be so honest, Drea. It seems as if there will be no screenshots provided of these transphobic remarks. I've never seen you be transphobic, so I'm not sure if you'll be getting those.
Okay, so I'll just show these really quickly. So this was actually happening to me and Katie in the live, but here we go. Here's this one. Yeah, Artemis, go on Discord and message your cult friends about how I'm spreading the truth. There's another one we got here. Mute the truth. Got it. Meanwhile, I'm not a mod in that space. Thanks for making all of my friends abandon me. And all fun and games until Artemis abandons you too. Yeah, I didn't do any shit to you. You did that to yourself. I'm so sick of this. Stop blaming other people for your shitty behavior.
All right. So I'm gonna end this. Give me 1 second. Sorry.
Oh, let me clarify why it is bullying. Because Lily asked Tweener to stop multiple times in the live, and Tweener refused to stop. And kept adding me, and has done it consecutively in Lily's lives on multiple occasions. That's called harassment, in case we didn't know what things were.
All right, I'm gonna end this.
Demi wanted to go.
Demi wanted to go. Okay, so we can do Demi, then Nerdy, and then as I said, there are a couple people in the box, so we might have to swap some people out. But
I would love to
I
drop.
just want a minute afterwards, then I'll drop.
Okay, so Demi, Nerdy,
Bye,
Drea.
I just want to say something before I drop.
Or is it going to be quick? Drea?
The order's good. I was just sorry.
Okay,
I didn't
okay.
mean to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead, Demi.
I'm gonna be really quick. As most of you know, I do try to stay out of most of these. I really only came up for the original portion of it. The one thing I do want to say, because I have very little understanding what is going on and not going on with Brandon, so I'm not going to speak heavily on it. What I do want to say, Brandon, is I absolutely have enjoyed my time when I panel with you. But if you've ever noticed, I won't come to panel with you when you have certain individuals on your live. If you've ever paid attention to when I show up to your lives and when I don't, that should give you a reference of who I find to be very problematic. You can take that for what it is. You can do with it what you will. But you panel certain individuals that I find to be extremely problematic and are not doing a justice to our server. Our community.
Yeah.
See, if you notice, we have Tweener crying in the comments. Tweener, I didn't even mention your name, but since you want to bring it up, sure, I'll call it out that it's you. It's absolutely you. And you're showing why it's you. So that is my 2 cents on this, Brandon. I would love for you to just do some introspection on what everybody up here is saying. I don't know the rest of the situation, so I won't speak on it. But do remember that I am very particular with who I panel with, and I am very particular with what I will allow myself to panel with. If that makes sense to everyone on the panel, I hope it does. Other than that, I am highly medicated So I am going to go rest for the night.
Bye, Demi. Get some
Bye,
rest.
girl.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, Demi.
Thank you. Lily, hold up. Is this? I assume this is a screenshot from.
Yeah, I've got quite a few.
So I'm gonna put you on the screen. Give me 1 second, Nerdy, and then I'll just give you the invite on you.
Oh, no worries at all.
Once again, you could really fix this situation if you just give me the ability to expand people, but whatever. Anyways. Okay, give me 1 second. Boom.
And Andrea, please go before me.
Thanks, love. Also, I just want to bring up something. Dean is a horrible person who yelled at Nerdy for no reason. For calling out his erasure.
Oh my god, that's a whole nother topic.
I just wanted to bring that up because it was mentioned that he was a good person. He's not.
He's not.
So yeah, there's more stuff on the Reddit as well. Like yesterday in my live, a load of Brandon's meat sticks accounts were coming into my comments and trying to say W Adora, W Mel when I didn't even comment on the two. But yeah, so this is Twina in their server saying another example of how once one person says the truth about an abuser, other victims will open up. If you have felt your platform controlled by Andy or others close to her, or if you have felt pressured to not support certain creators for fear of losing friends, send me a message. This is trying to create the narrative that Andy is like P. Diddy. I think that's a heavy and disgusting accusation to make when Andy simply called out problematic behaviours. Next. By the way, that's the comparing of someone who's part of a marginalised community as someone who holds more privilege than her and is thingy rapist and essayer, etc. And then just in what I was referencing before, I have more screenshots, but I'm not going to go through all of them. Just in terms of whilst I was in the server, like still, and I didn't respond to any of these, but chatting shit about me. Brandon is like in some later messages where they're still talking about me, and then obviously trying to make weird accusations about my family. My family do love me, but anyway. And then what else? Give me a second. I might have to find the threat one. I apologise. 2 ticks. Because I have to bring it up to actually find it. So do bear with me. Lordy Lord. My apologies.
You're good.
1 second.
Oh, snap. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna. I take it you have it. Sweet. Okay, give me 1 second. Encore. And. Okay.
Thank you. Sorry. Oh yeah, I mean another another like just random threat for no reason. And then yeah. Sorry, I should have gone through them before. I can't actually find it. Shit.
Do you remember what it said? Because because
Yeah, it was like good luck on this side or something. Like it's destined.
Yeah.
Oh, found it. It's designed for you to fail. And then I said like, I've got it, but just to save everyone's time, I said like, are you making a threat? And then they went no, and then they went on about being a massive creator, and then. The Artemis screenshots. Artemis, did you show all of them?
Hold on. There you go.
I showed what I had.
Okay, I'll get the other ones. And then just an exchange in messages yesterday that just crops that one. Constantly being told I'm in a cult as if I don't have autonomy. The gaslighting, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. People see what people do publicly. So I just think it's ridiculous to me that we're being gaslit about clearly the actions and wrongdoings that someone did publicly. And then, yeah, Artemis, let me get them up. Oh, bugger. Okay, you'll have to come back to me. I'm going to have to edit these ones so they show fully.
Are we all in the same cult or are they different? Because how many cults are going on right now?
I don't know, but like...
is there mine and then yours and then Andy's? Like, how many fucking cults are there?
I don't know. I'm just a part of the Squirrel Squad. I don't know what anyone's talking about.
Okay, I just want to know if there's multiple or is it just all one cult?
Tween, it disproves that whenever you go around saying that people are in a cult with no substantiating evidence, you look very silly and people question if you're okay. That's what that proves. All right, Katie, did you want to go over this now or did you want to wait until later?
If now's a good time, yeah, sure.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I actually forgot that I promised Drea and Echo. Give you 1 second.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Drea, is there anything that you want to discuss?
Yes, I just want to say really quickly that as a Black woman, cis or transphobia also affects us, unfortunately. So I'm going to call out anti-Blackness in trans spaces because guess what? It also affects cis women that are Black, unfortunately. Like we get unalived, like you bring up in your spaces, and you having a Black non-binary person next to you who openly admits that they are uneducated on racism and the intersectionality between racism and transphobia does not absolve you from perpetuating anti-Blackness. It doesn't make you a great advocate. It makes you a bad advocate, actually, because you're perpetuating anti-Blackness that harms Black people. I know you're a white man, so you probably don't care, but I care, so I'm going to call it out. And that does not make me transphobic. Hope that helps. Stop lying on my name. I don't know you. You're weird. And you're a racist white man. Hope that helps. Thanks. Good night. Have a great night, everyone. I hope everyone has a great day tomorrow. And Nerdy, I hope you're okay. I'm sorry that they made you relive this.
All right. Echo. Wait, did I not give you? Hold up, I thought I did. Did I not give you the? Hold on. There we go.
You unmuted me the first time. I was just being respectful and not speaking.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we are about to end this one. Hold up, I'm just going to end showtime really quickly. Give me a minute.
Okay.
I'd really quickly, before we move on, just so that we're all on the same page, what bullying is. It's a form of harassment involved continued and annoying actions. Bullying can include threats and demands as well as uninvited and unwelcomed verbal or physical contact.
Also, I'm about to head out, but I just wanted to say, Brandon, ultimately, like, what are you going to do now? I mean, I personally don't care even if this is performative. I think what Adorna did is so nasty that even if this is performative, I just think it's better not to platform her. Is that what you're going to do? Or are you going to talk to her about it? Like,
I've never had a conversation with Adora in my entire life, which is just funny. No, I won't.
Sorry, not Adora. Sorry, go ahead.
You're fine. Yeah, no, I won't be platforming Adora.
Cool.
Sorry, 1 second.
Well, personally, I am going to head out because I just wanted to say that again. I understand that you did send out an apology to Tabby, and that was great. I think it's more than frankly what Mel or Tweener did. So again, I'm not going to sit here and hold you accountable for their actions because I understand they're different, but I do still think it is something to be said about the fact that we're going to talk about, anti-cyberbullying and like the behavior that's happened. I understand you're not Tweener's keeper. Right. You're not Tweener's keeper, but I still do feel as if there is something to be addressed and your own anti-Blackness, right? There's always room to live and like learn. And I just kind of feel like if we are going to call ourselves advocates, which is why I would never call myself this, it's a huge responsibility. We do have to take account of intersection and like constantly be trying to listen and learn. And like lives aren't enough. Sometimes it's books. Sometimes it's just talking to people, again, I can't tell you who to platform. Maybe your conversations with Cooner are working. And yeah, Isaac, I know I can't say that word. That's why I said it the way I said it. I am a bully. Unlike Brandon, I am proudly going to bully and I'm going to do it again. Brandon, don't hate me for it. But yeah, personally, I just really wish you would really take into account that intersectionality. Cooner, you can eat my ass and rot. I hope the rest of y'all have a wonderful night. Bye.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
W.
Yeah. Okay. So Echo, I know.
You don't have to. Sorry.
So sorry.
No, Lily, please go ahead, Lily.
You don't have to expand me for this now because I think it's going to work in the box. But yeah, so in reference to yesterday, I don't have those screenshots, so you can look at the Reddit. I also have more, but I'll just show this because it was mentioned. So these messages are in order. All fun and games now until Artemis abandons you too. This is what Twina came in to my live stating. And then at Artemis Wolfie, when are you going to abandon Lily the way you did me and many others? I verbally told Twina to shut up. And then nothing was said in the comments to them, I don't believe. Oh, sorry, I'm a liar. I also said in the comments, what are you doing? Stop. And then at Artemis Wolfie, thanks for making all my friends abandon me, smiley face. Bearing in mind, we were talking to an opposition and nothing about anything else. And then I think one of my mods muted Twina. Mute the truth, got it, smiley face. And then, yeah, Artemis, go on Discord and message your cult friends about how I'm spreading the truth. And then, is your cult friend Katie that you're messaging, Artie? And then last one was towards one of my
Sorry,
moderators.
I was mentioned there?
Yeah, you were. Hang on, I'll show you again.
I'm wondering if it's Artemis's cult, because the only people in what Twina has dubbed "quote unquote" Artemis's group that I fucking ever speak to off of app are
I think
Artemis
it's-
and Isaac.
Do you know what's funny? I think it's anyone that disagrees with Twina and Co. is apparently in a cult. But anyway, yeah, is your cult friend Katie that you're messaging, Artie? And then the last messages before they were muted again. At Naif JC, why silence the truth? Sorry, why silence someone trying to say the truth? But yeah, overall, like, I try to bite my tongue as much as I can. I also just ask people if I've got drama, like if I've done something wrong, bring it to me privately, we can work on it. Otherwise, I'm more so just a block and leave or a silent watcher. So to constantly try and get me to bite is infuriating, especially from someone a lot older than me, where it's either sending people into my live to constantly try and get me to respond to drama or other things like this. So yeah, it's just further proof of that.
And if I can really quickly, this is to point out the fact that if we're going to say that people coming into lives, adding us and calling people, let's say racist, for example, that's not cyberbullying. If this isn't cyberbullying, by the way, you can't be hypocritical. So if someone continuously adding someone in the chat, saying disparaging things and being manipulative is not cyberbullying, but someone coming into a live and just calling someone racist is, I'm going to need someone to create that delineage for me.
Wait,
like, I'm going
is
to need
it
someone to break that down.
Is it unsubstantiated, like claims? Like if someone said right now, like in the chat, like Artemis is a racist, is that cyberbullying?
I would actually ask what context, because I did commit microaggressions 2 years ago and apologize for them, and have constantly talked about how I've learned and grown from that.
Okay, so you would ask for proof,
No, I would ask what context.
which isn't that what proof is?
No.
What's the difference?
Asking for context is not asking for proof.
What's the difference between asking
And by
for
the
proof
way,
and
Brandon,
asking for
it's not
context?
unfounded. I literally was on
Asking for context would just be asking them to explain why they're calling Artemis this, not necessarily asking that, like requiring.
Like what the situation was to bring that up, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Right.
think that asking for context is fine when someone makes an accusation.
Yeah, right. I agree with that. I mean, that's kind of what I was doing at the beginning of this live. I was asking for like context, and then all of a sudden it got painted that I was not believing victims. I was like, can we please have context?
Sorry.
Brendan, how didn't you know?
I'm not in high school. I don't follow the fucking drama. Every single person on this app is just
This
like,
isn't.
ooh, what's this
I'm
person
sorry,
do?
no, Brandon, no.
I don't follow it.
No, don't fucking belittle this. This is a creator with nearly 100,000 followers that represents the trans community. Okay, what they did backlashes on every single one of us. Every fucking single one of us. When you are a creator who puts yourself in the position of being the face of a marginalized community, you have to do better. because you have a further degree of harm than an average person. This was not a silly mistake. This was not fucking high school drama. Do not belittle it to that, please. This is affecting trans people more than you will fucking understand.
No, I agree with you. I agree. That's not what I was referring to when I'm saying that. Every single person on this app has things against them. Like, do you know every situation that's ever called out on Parker?
Do we have allegations of predatory behavior? Brandon, do you have allegations of
Also, by the way, I have messaged Parker myself. I have tried to address Parker. When he raided Carbon's live recently, I literally said in chat, y'all need to get Parker to talk to me about his trans debates because his position on trans people is shit. And when he debates it's shit.
Sure.
I've called out Parker and Dean multiple times to my detriment on this app. Like, if anybody knows me, they know my complete disdain for both of them and the horrendous shit that they have done. Like, people, again, it's so weird that this is like me. I'd really love to get back to the discussion of racism that has been committed by Adora and people around her, because that's what this live is ultimately about. And I think there's people in the chat like Tweener who probably need to hear it.
Yeah, sure. I can drop and let other people talk, but yeah,
I'm going to drop in a second, but I wanted to address you before you run off.
I'm not running off. I've been here for freaking 3 hours.
Cool. Again, you're a cis person who's advocating for the trans community. You don't get to tone police how we respond to one of our own being a shitty person. So for you to host lives about cyberbullying when the accountability is not cyberbullying, okay, we're talking about our own and holding them accountable. You don't get to dictate how we do that. Just like you don't get to dictate how Black people respond to racism.
Never said I did.
Sherwin, sorry, really quickly. I'm Sherwin, you're muted because you're ridiculous, and actually everyone's seeing the way Sherwin is interpreting this. We'll just keep that into account. That's all. Go ahead, Echo. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, Lily has their hand up, and
no, you're fine. I just have one last question for Brandon before he goes, but Echo, go ahead.
Well, my one last question to Brandon is, Brandon, you host these lives, you call yourself an advocate for marginalized communities. How are you pro-Black?
I don't understand the question.
How do you conduct yourself as an advocate from a pro-Black stance on this live?
I will always fight for Black people. I don't know what the question is. Like when I vote with that in mind. I don't know what you're asking.
When you hold a space around marginalized communities, how are you a pro-Black creator on here? And this is a YT person holding a YT person accountable. So
yeah, I know, but I don't even know what you're asking me. I don't even know the question you're asking me.
As a person that tries to be as pro-Black as possible, I prefer to uplift BIPOC voices.
For sure.
I'm silent when they want to speak.
Okay.
Sky, I see you have your hand up. I know Lily had their hand up as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something real quick because let's unpack this. Like the fact that you said, "Oh, I vote Black." If someone asks me how I advocated for trans people, I'm not gonna say, "Oh, I vote Kamala. I vote blue." That's how I protect trans people. There's a plethora of things that I could say that I do in my personal life, have done recently to advocate for trans people outside this app. Now, there's personal reason why I haven't done it recently, but at the same time, I still do, and I have receipts for those. The thing is that you have a lot of like unchecked, microaggressions that you need to unpack. And I don't really think you're a pro-Black creator. I don't think you're a pro-trans creator. I think you're very performative, and you sit in your cis white T privilege. And you need to check that because it seems to me very, very performative. Because if Echo asks me how I advocate for trans people, non-binary people, I have a plethora of things to say to him. You do not. Oh, you vote black? What does that even mean?
I didn't say I vote black. I said I will vote for people in positions of power to protect like black voices. I didn't say I was voting. Like, what is it?
What you're saying in so many words is voting black, because if you tell me the only thing you're doing to advocate for black people is voting for people like Kamala or anywhere who shares the same skin tone as me or whatever the case may be, that's like
that.
You literally said that you vote for black people.
I didn't say that.
Did you? Okay, what did you say then? What was it that you say? You vote for black people. What is that supposed to mean?
The exact terminology that was used was that he votes with that in mind. Like he
right
with them in mind.
Oh, so many choice words mean that same thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm just gonna call it like it is. A spade's a spade. You're performative. You're very much not pro-black, and you're very much not pro-trans. Everything you do is performative, just for TikToks and clicks and views. You have not done shit for the trans community. You have not done shit for the black community, especially. And I hope people see you for the performative white tea person you are.
But I raised a trans kid, right? And that was just nothing.
Not the tokenizing.
Okay,
No.
So
Raise a trans
you
kid.
on the phone with me called out Mel for this.
No, hold on. Fought for frickin' trans rights consistently. Like my entire platform is fighting for LGBTQA, and I'm just a horrible person, right? I know.
Wow.
Brandon's just the worst. He's just the worst person.
This is like
This
is what parents do when they say. This is what parents do when they say, "Oh well, I'm just a horrible mother." This is what parents do when they
remember when I said
manipulate their
cyberbullying?
kids.
Remember when I said cyberbullying? This is
manipulative. This is manipulative. You're gonna run away before my final question? Oh. I would love to see if he stands on what he said and actually disassociates from Twina and Mel. Brandon, you are extremely fake, and I have the screenshots to prove it.
Yeah, I'm going to drop in a second, but I just want to say, Brandon, I know you're probably still listening. How about you stop talking over BIPOC people when they're trying to convey information to you? Plain and simple. Thank you for having me, Isaac. Thank you all.
Can y'all hear me just fine, by the way? This is Ali. This is Geek. Hey, y'all. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. I know like Cloud's been up here for a second.
I have a quick question for the panel real quick. Did I misgender anybody on this panel? Did I use any incorrect pronoun? Thank you. Because please, that person in the comments trying to check me talking about I misgendered somebody. I didn't misgender nobody. And if I accidentally did that, I would have attested to it. So if I use your incorrect pronouns on this panel, please let me know what your pronouns are. If you use she, her, they, them, or a combination.
Now, I will say this. I was watching anime. I just got here.
Before Tabby goes, because I think Tabby definitely is actively a part of this conversation, I just want to point out something really quickly. It's really crazy that when we talk about tokenization on this godforsaken app, people act like just because you literally advocate for one community, that's all you have to advocate for. There was a whole conversation that we were having literally with Mel about a month and a half ago when this all got brought up again. You know, where she tried to act like because she advocates for her child, her trans child, that she doesn't really have to be advocate for like black people, or to understand at least the microaggressions that she allowed on her fucking panel. And I'm getting really annoyed because the way that he switched out when Sky Blue was like, hey, I just don't see you as pro-black, which by the way, you can't be freaking pro-black and white, y'all. I'm gonna make that very clear. You can just like you can be an advocate, you can be an ally. Pro-blackness is specifically a black intersectional thing within the black community. I need y'all to be so effing for real when you guys use this language. There's another thing that you guys are just not very educated on. I think that when we're talking about this, you guys are just very, very uneducated, and I think that some of y'all need to take a step back because that man lashed out simply because he didn't like what Sky Blue had to say. Like, dude.
Also,
stop.
quick, like to add on to what Purple was saying, like he like them people in the comments being weird trying to check me for he tripped up. I knew he was one of them people, and by he I'm referring to Brandon, because anyone who's really pro-black anyone who's really pro-trans, they're not going to be stunted when you ask them how they're advocating for the trans community. They're not going to be like, oh, well, I vote with trans people in mind. What does that mean? What is that supposed to mean? Hello? And also, Echo, if you're still in the comments, people are saying that I accidentally used he, him pronouns on you. I do apologize if I did do that because you didn't say anything at the time of the panel. And I know now that you use they, them pronouns. So my apologies. Like, that was never intentional if I did do that. So sorry.
Glowhan, you're actually so dense, bro. You're actually so dense. There's no way you just added me with saying that I went to an historical HBCU and...
Wait, what?
And? Am I supposed to give a single fuck? I don't give a damn.
Oh, Glowhan, the one that was trying to stand up for Oh Girl. Okay, anyways, moving on.
You're so obsessed with me. No, sweetheart. What's going to keep happening is if you want to continue commenting here, I'm going to keep reminding you of your anti-blackness on Brandon's stream. That's what's going to keep happening. Since you're so dense, you're so smooth brain that you don't even remember what the fuck you did and what the fuck you said. You're taken, and I feel so sorry for them. I don't give a damn. Anyways, Cloud Cat, don't worry, we can get to that in a second. Cloud Cat, please. Well, Cloud Cat and then Katie, because they've been up here for a while.
My moment has passed. It was really in way back in reference to Tweener calling out individual people and making kind of slanderous statements about things that we did not do. I was included in that as well for a little bit, not to the same extent, but yeah. So there is.
Right. Okay.
Can I just say something really quickly before you move on, Isaac?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just want to make this clear to like the few people that are going like, he didn't crash out. Brendan actually showed us it to everybody in front of 400 people that he definitely crashed out just because Sky Blue said that she thinks that he's performative. That was a crash out saying that, but I advocate for trans children, right? But I'm not standing for nobody, but that was a crash out because we weren't talking about LGBT at that point. Sky Blue was specifically pointing out how he was not actively standing like being pro-black or anything. That was a crash out. For him to literally pivot like that and make it seem like we were trying to say like he's this big bad wolf, that was a crash out. That was him trying to flip it and play a victim. That was actively a crash out. I need you guys to be freaking for real. Why do y'all do this? Anyways, go ahead.
Katie, go ahead.
Yeah. So on that, I think performative, I think people interpret it interestingly. Sorry if I take a minute. I think what I would like to say is I think Brandon and Tweener do care, but they've shown us to the degree of which they care, and it's not enough. Like I said earlier, if you're going to be an advocate and you're going to put yourself as the face of a marginalized community, you are putting yourself in the public eye. You are saying, I am a person of this community and I represent this community. That's what you tell people. Regardless of whether that's what you mean to, that is what you are doing when you are an advocate in the public spaces. We can't be hypocrites. We can't be talking about the safety of children and things like that, and then having things like what Adora has done. Like, no, you can't. No one associating with Adora should be advocating for trans kids at all, because no one will trust you, and for valid reason. Yeah, you care about the community, but you don't care enough to be a fucking advocate. Sit down.
Thank you. Nerdy, and then Tabby.
Okay.
So I wanted to bring up something that, again, like I think in this whole conversation, despite the copious amounts of receipts that have been posted in the Reddit and on various lives, it's just being brushed under the carpet, is the rampant racism that was going on in many different forms, like the Islamophobia, the anti-blackness, and the amount of people that have tried to point that out. And I still to this day don't understand why Well, I do. I shouldn't say that. That's a rhetorical question. I do understand why. It's because that's not something that people are concerned about, and they should be. There was an instance where Mel, Nate, and Adora were on a live, and a gentleman came up who had an accent that sounded like it was a Middle Eastern accent. I don't know. And they decided to mock him because they could not understand what he was saying. And they did not know how to pronounce his name. So they decided to call him Mohammed. And they made jokes about him being a schmarrist. This was brought to my attention when it happened because I was not in the live and I was sent the video by 2 separate people. That's the kind of shit that has been going on that has just been ignored, right? It's been completely ignored. Or the masculinizing Black women multiple different times in lives. Or the rampant ableism of mocking how people speak, telling them to hurry the fuck up, or like snapping, get to it, all of these different things going on. None of this stuff has been called out. Again, despite there being a ton of receipts and people talking about it. And I think that's also something that needs to be brought up in this conversation because it bleeds out into other spaces. And I'm not even the one who's bought these receipts, right? These receipts came far before me. So I think that, again, I don't want that to be ignored because that's a problem that none of them have ever taken accountability for.
I'll just go on my. We recognizing Brandon is the same person who called my live that was alive about having Black people have a space to talk about the racism that Mel did and called that a bullying live.
Yes.
That in itself is racism. That in itself, and everybody who supported that narrative, especially if you weren't even there for the live, you didn't even see the live. I have the live posted. It is still in my bio. Y'all are free to go ahead and see it. To claim that, because I even had a private conversation with Brandon about this. I messaged him about it. And his whole thing is, one of the things that he said to me was saying crazy while talking about individual is rooted in ableism, but you would disagree. He is so dead set on trying to make me an ableist instead of just acknowledging Mel's racism. And I think that it needs to be a part of this conversation as well. The amount of them trying to hide behind ableism, which didn't happen, didn't come from me. I never called Mel crazy. I never called, and again, my live is posted. I've given him plenty of time to pull out in my live, because he said he took notes, to pull out in my live where I called Mel crazy. He has yet to do it. He has yet to do so. So he's just making claims about me with zero evidence. And I find it crazy that Black people, if we want to make a claim about racism, we have to have copious amount of evidence behind what we're saying. When I had that live, I had to show copious amount of evidence just so that we can justify having Black people speak on it. And yet he can sit here and they can sit there and call me ableist and not have to provide evidence of any of that. They can sit here and spread random ass narratives about people that they don't even have anything about. Like, I'm sorry, weren't they just trying to sit here and call, I'm gonna say it, my bestie and compare her to fucking P. Diddy, but they were protecting Adora? Where is their evidence behind any of this? They make claims behind claims behind claims behind claims about people trying to destroy their reputation, trying to destroy other marginalized people. You claimed a Black woman was P. Diddy, not a Black woman, a trans woman was P. Diddy. But y'all protect trans women who dilate on a kid's app. That doesn't make sense. And there's evidence behind that. They keep saying, oh, there's evidence, there's proof. The only people who show evidence or proof are when people show evidence or proof against them, but they have not showed a single piece of evidence, a single piece of proof to claim anything that they're claiming. They have conspiracy theory behind this conspiracy theory because instead of wanting to acknowledge Mel is racist and doesn't want to take the time to unlearn racism, Brandon, definitely also racist. I'm just gonna put it out there. Doesn't want to take the time to unlearn racism, and honestly is simply a hypocrite, because you can't 1 minute say that you're against bullying, but then you sit there on the live with people as they are sitting there berating people. You can't say that you're against racism, but you ignore the black voices speaking on racism. You can't sit here and claim the live of black people speaking on racism is a bullying live. Okay, then we can't speak on anything unless it's you speaking. We can't hold anybody accountable. You can't have any conversation where people of marginalized communities that you don't support, that you don't stand for, is calling out things. That can't happen. Black people can't sit in a black space and talk about racism towards us without being portrayed as bullies. Make that make sense, because that's what Brandon's bullying live was about. Anti-cyberbullying. It's cyberbullying for black people to sit in the black space and talk about the racism of your bestie. We talking about besties. We can't do that. I can't hold a live like that, because I had a picture that Mel put online in the background, and black people were speaking. My live is posted. If I did anything wrong, anybody's welcome to clip it, post it, tell me about it, point out where in my video where I was wrong and what I did that was wrong. Anyone is welcome to go to the link in my bio, because I still have the video there, and you can point out exactly what I did wrong. If you can't do it, I don't want to hear that my live was cyberbullying, was ableist, or any of that, because it's there. But they'll still go around. They'll still spread their narratives. They'll still be racist. They'll still be dilating in front of kids. They'll still be, they'll still do what they want to do and not bother to have to do any learning.
All right. Katie, I definitely want to let you go in a second, because I know you also raised your hand. All right. So, two things. One, I would like to move off of people who have already exited the panel, only because I know that wasn't the original intention of this live. In regards to everything that's been said, I'm not policing how other black people feel about the anti-blackness that they observed. In regards to Tweener, we already know they don't have the range to have the conversation, right? Brandon, my personal experience with Brandon up until this point, I don't believe that he's a bad person. I think that he's letting the similarities that he sees in other people potentially cloud his judgment. But I don't think that he's doing anything malicious. I think that there's been a lot of lack of information and a lot of lack of communication amongst certain parties that I've already recommended several times. Actually, I've already also reached out and tried to be like the one to create the space for said conversation. Still doesn't happen. Not to say that is mainly on Brandon, because it's actually the other people who really need to be involved in that conversation, but whatever. I do hope that there's been a lot of internal processing of what we've been told today. So hopefully we can move forward with a difference of opinion, because I do think that unfortunately there's been too much interjection from certain parties on the overall topic several times for it not to be affiliated with either racism or with anti-blackness, etc. But as far as stuff that happened, I know, Tabby, you are under no obligation to forgive him for your interactions. I do think that there's been some attempt at growth. I just think that whenever we continue to have these conversations and then people continue to say things, it goes back to muddy waters again.
I'm gonna be honest, that growth has not reached me from Brandon. because yeah, he did it. He sent me that one apology message, and then I told him didn't forgive him. He then continued the exact same behavior. Like, you can't say you're reflecting on your behavior in the live where I was being screamed at by a tweener, and then 2 seconds later, in your own live, where I'm up in the box, you're still allowing her to scream at me. And that's your live, not her live.
Yeah.
To the point where I leave because I already know it was coming.
No, I do think you've been treated unfairly, and I think that your live has been misrepresented. Some of the things you've said have been misrepresented, and this is all a part of like the miscommunication that I'm talking about. But again, no one else has to hold this opinion. I'm just making sure that I interject as necessary.
Isaac,
yeah, go ahead.
I love you. But you know why I came up here.
Yes.
There was lying. Just complete denial and acting like I don't know any of these things. When you and me both know we have had conversations in private with him.
Mm-hmm. No, like I agree. Like I do think that there's been a level of like tunnel vision and not acknowledging what goes on within certain cliques, right? Like there's definitely been that. There's been like a lot of double standards in that regard. I think that a lot of it is coming from like a place of being defensive and not actually hearing people out within that person.
And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and go. I was actually just going to say that. I understand that Brendan's like one of your really close friends on here. I respect what he does for the community. I respect what he has to say for the community. I just think that what he showed us now in this particular life, not even what he said in the past, that he has a lot of dismantling to go through. I think that his issues really come down from people not seeing him as the best advocate. Simply because one person's like, actually, I do believe you're performative, and being honest about it within their own, perspective, and he lashed out at that black woman, or at people in general, thinking that like we were ultimately, or she was ultimately attacking him when she was not. With that being said, thank you for letting me up, Isaac. I will go back on my other account and mod. You guys have a good one.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Isaac, really quick, sorry. I don't need to be up here any longer. I don't want to take up space for somebody else who wants to be here. I will say though, if Tweener does decide to come back and decide to have these conversations, somebody ping me about this, because I would like to settle that conversation. Thank you. So, okay, thanks for having me. Bye, Cloud.
Later, Cloud. Thank you for being here. Katie, I saw, did you want to come back up? Because I know you said you wanted to say one more thing, unless it was already stated. But other than that, anyone else on the panel?
Yeah, I just wanted to say something real quick since there's quite a few people in here. I personally, as someone who is Black and a part of the LGBT community, I'm just sick and tired of people of color, so white tea people and other non-Black people being very heavily microaggressive, being heavily racist, and getting somewhat of an understanding and a pass as they're in the community. Because the kind of grace that I've personally seen given to some people who are part of the community and just happen to be white, that kind of grace isn't given to cis hetero people. It's just not. And that's just my opinion. Start checking people if they're doing the wrong thing, regardless of them being in the community or not. Because I call out anti-Blackness that I see Black people perpetuating, as well as any other person. So if you're in the LGBT community, don't be afraid to call out anti-Blackness that a white T LGBT individual are doing. And let's start decentering white T LGBTQ voices when we're in Black spaces talking about the woes of Black LGBTQ people, because that's insane. I shouldn't be joining a live about Black LGBTQ people or just Black people in general, and there's a white T person just speaking over and allowed to speak over people. Because when I, the cis person, join and live about trans people, I'm not centering myself and making it about me and or speaking for a trans person and speaking over a trans person. And there's way too much of that going on. Like, Brandon in particular, I really feel like he's performing. I understand he's your friend, Isaac, and absolutely no shade, no disrespect to you. But I knew that there was something there, and that's why I call it out. And the fact that he said, oh, I raised a trans kid and blah, blah, blah. If I called you out on your anti-blackness and I told you I think you're racist, and you tell me you adopted a black child, your wife is black, you read books that MLK wrote, does that make you any less racist? You know, like the tokenization, and that is a prime example of a white T tokenization to take the heat and divert the conversation. And I just want to point that out in particular. That's definitely something that you can grow on and change from, and that's great. But I know I'm not the only one that personally felt like that, and I don't even know Brandon like that, to be honest. I've just observed this, and the crash out proves what I'm literally saying. I'm just sick and tired of seeing the racism, specifically towards Black people, be excused by these white LGBTQ individuals. So yeah.
Heard. Sorry. Heard. All right. Well, anyone else? I know, Lily, you said you had your hand up.
Oh, Lily can go ahead.
Shit, sorry. Firstly, Isaac, thank you for holding this live and having me up for so long. I've just realised how long it's been. So sorry for badgering on. I just wanted to... I'm sorry. I just wanted to round up my thoughts because I know a lot's been said. So I just wanted to add in terms of what Nerdy said about the Islamophobia. I caught the other day Brandon making a comment of a commonly used Islamophobic talking point of asking the age of someone. You can fill in the blanks. It's fueled in misinformation. And it's a disgusting point that has been used to demonize Muslims and the Middle East for so long. And I'm sick of hearing it. And then later I caught the recording of Brandon then asking after a Muslim guest dropped the same question. So I'm not surprised that you have been sent footage of that before. It's absolutely abhorrent to try and claim you're intersectional and then you silence Black creators on the app, Middle Eastern creators on the app, and Muslim creators on the app. And also the trans ones that were on the panel trying to hold you to account as well. But yeah, the accountability stuff, whatchamacallit, was... Katie, shut up. Seriously, sorry. I have to. Be quiet. You know better. But anyway, so yeah, in terms of accountability, it's disingenuous, it's performative. You were loving it when I held my one and only call out live on Taylor. You were there in the comments, as was Twina, and then you tried to spin a completely different narrative, have done. And then again, when I've tried to ask you for some proof to the narrative that you have tried to create, you have never provided that. You have dogpiled and bullied myself when all I asked for was some substantiation. In the heavy accusations you have made against other creators on here, I am sick to death of the weaponization of mental health. It is disgusting. Please stop. People with mental health issues can be held to account. I will say that as someone who does. Please hold me to account. Please hold others to account. Our mental health does not excuse our actions should they be wrong. And then trying to refer to Adora's actions as a silly little mistake is so painful to hear as a victim of something that heavy. Trying to say, and I know you said not too much on people that have been here, but from Brandon's quote earlier, throwing essay around like it's nothing. Again, it's vile to hear. As someone who knows about that and has experienced it, please don't. This isn't something to be made a joke out of. We should not be platforming these people. We should not be accepting these people back. If you do, you're just as bad as them. And I hope that Nerdy, you taking it to the FBI, it will substantiate into something further, because I honestly feel that's the only way that that this person can be stopped. And then, yeah, Mel, as I said earlier, moderators can unmoderate themselves, whether the person is on the app or not. When she commented on Adora's live the other day, holding a live about kids, she had her moderation still. So, again, just completely false and fake. And then the last thing I just wanted to touch upon is when I was in Tweena's server, I did at one point go back and look, just out of being nosy. And there are comments from Tweena, whether they've been deleted or not, I don't know. I was kicked out of the server after all that happened. But I suggest to anyone who is in the server, if you scroll all the way back up to general, at the very top, because Red History is on, get the screenshots of Tweena very clearly condemning what Adora did, because they are lying. They know. This whole group knows, and they should be doing a lot better. You are the people doing bullying. You are the people who are silencing marginalised communities. You claim to be advocates, but you're not, and that's a joke and a slap in the face. But yeah, that's all. Thank you, Isaac, for holding this live, and yeah. Thank you.
I just want to say one thing, kind of like to add on what Sky had said earlier. Just for people who don't, when someone is being racist, it's not just someone who is screaming the N-word. The more overt versions of racism that we typically see. There are covert versions of racism that happen, which is why it's so important for people to actively be educating themselves on racism, because you fall into things and you don't even know what you're doing because it's so deeply embedded into our society that as a person, if you're not actively unlearning racism, if you're not actively engaging in spaces that would normally make you uncomfortable, if you're not actively putting yourself in those spaces, if you're not actively learning these things, you are going to fall in those pit holes of bigotry. Before all this, I didn't know who Brandon was. I didn't know who, a lot of people who've been sitting here like going against me, I didn't know who they were. It wasn't until after I held my mouth live that I found out a lot of things. That I've seen that a lot of people have been making themselves known to me, and I've been seeing them, and I'm just kind of like, these are things that, yes, you have to be active in unlearning. If you're not active in it and you're just passive in it and you're just trying to learn along the way, you're not going to unlearn it. It's so deeply imbued it's so deeply imbued into our society that you are not going to unlearn it. You're not going to unlearn transphobia unless you're actively unlearning transphobia. You're not going to unlearn classism unless you're actively unlearning classism. You're not going to unlearn racism unless you're actively unlearning racism. Unless you're actively taking the steps to do the work to unlearn. If you're not active and you're passive, you're never going to unlearn it, because the society is not built for you to learn passively. The society is not built for you to just be able to exist and not fall into these pit holes of bigotry. It will happen all the time. And you can't say you're not a racist if you're not making the active work. You can't say, and this is all, we'll go into the how should accountability be held. I personally think accountability needs to be held internally. You need to hold yourself accountable. Other people can't hold you accountable. They can point out your flaws. They can point out things that you might need to do. But if you're not actively doing the work, nobody can make you but you. If you're not actively unlearning racism, and I don't care how you got to go about learning it, you have to be active in it, not passive. This goes for all forms of bigotry. You have to be active in it, not passive. If you're not active in the things you say to go against the things that you do wrong, you're going to continue to do it. I don't know what Adora's been doing in the months that she's been gone, but I want to know what she's actively been doing. But then again, that's not my place to take it back. I'm just saying, I stand by active education, active people being active in the things that they do. If you're not active and you're passive or you're complacent, you're not moving. You're not holding yourself accountable. You're not doing what you got to do. Whether that be for anything. Racism, transphobia, not dilating on fucking lives. So for some people, you got to actively try not to do that, I guess. But you got to be active.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Artemis, I know your hand was up.
Yeah, well, I don't even know how to follow that. I mean, might as well just leave the crown and walk away. I'll just point this out. If people who used to be your friends are trying to hold you accountable and you just say that they're cyberbullying people, that's a big ass red flag. I think that like I've been on Debate Talk, Drama Talk, whatever you want to call it, for like 4 years. And if people who like truly cared about you before are trying to like have that conversation with you and you just keep going like, well, I need proof, or I need this, or I need that, and just doing all of this, it is exhausting. And I get having like proof. I get that. But it's wild to me to just label it all cyberbullying, but not also hold yourself to the same standard. And I agree with Tabby. Holding yourself accountable means holding yourself accountable. And I think that needs to be seen in front of people if you're going to come back on the app and do it. While you're doing stuff off app. I think people need to be seeing you actively showing that you are doing the work instead of just disappearing for months at a time and coming back and going, I did it. I fixed everything. Everything's fine now. We can all move on. Everyone's like, where have you been? Like, you can't just come back and say that you've done all this work and no one knows what you've done or like show or anything like that. And unfortunately, or fortunately, you do have to sit there and you do have to listen to people who still want to hold you accountable because you did harm. I don't care if you want to move on, you did harm. And you should sit there and you should listen to people about what you did that was harmful. I don't know why that's a difficult thing for people to understand. So I gotta hop down. I'm gonna be playing video games with my husband before I go live later. But Isaac, thank you for having me. And yeah, everybody have a good night.
Appreciate that. What is?
I'm also hop down because I was watching anime. I'm trying to watch. It's called the anime everybody was going crazy about. Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay,
I finally started that one.
Yeah.
I'm on episode 20. It's good.
Fair enough. Well, thank you for joining me.
Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, I'll hop back down. But I'll listen for a bit.
That's fair. Yeah, most likely we'll be ending soon because we've been on this level. I think we've actually been here for 8 hours. I think we have. Because I'm almost positive I started
you
this.
You outbeat me because I usually only hold like 5 to 6 hour lives.
I'm almost positive because I swear I woke up. It was afternoon when I started this live. It was 12. I remember.
Swipe to the left so you can see like how long you've been live.
Oh, you're so right. Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
What does it say? 7 hours and 18 minutes. Jesus.
Go to bed. Go to bed. Retire soon, like in the next like 20 minutes, retire.
Not 8 hours of unpacking all kinds of isms and phobias.
The thing is, this didn't even start off as this started off with one of my other backgrounds. I'd made this one because the conversation switched to this.
Yeah. Oh, but people are really messy because the fact that there was almost 600 people in here is wild.
Wild. Anyways, I'm sorry. Please tell me you could go back to your thing. Bye. Goodness gracious.
And also, Sky, loved what you said. And sorry that Brandon went off on you. You know what? We are in the same club.
Yeah, because he went off on me because the thing is that I have a way with my words and people might think that they know where I'm going with this, but eventually with my words I'll get you to say what you really want to say, because that sounded very similar to someone checking somebody for racism and they're like, my wife is black, I have a trans daughter, my son is gay. I'm like, come on now, we all know what it gave, and it gave what it gave.
Yeah, no, you're right. I stand beside you. I peeped it. But I'm gonna hop back down.
All right. Bye, Tabby.
Bye.
I think I can. Hold up.
I'm trying to drop myself.
Oh, hold up. I got you. Don't worry. Oh, you got it. Cool. Sweet. But beanie appearance.
Are we still gonna be live?
Oh no. We are definitely about to end because your boy needs to eat and
No,
not.
because I was chilling watching action movies with my mom. All of a sudden, I saw there's some people that needed to be checked. So I was like, let me see if I can get into this so I could say a quick little 1-2. And I said it.
That's valid. Yeah. So okay, I saw. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I'm gonna not have this up too long because obviously there are certain words. But
Yeah, definitely. But this is a screenshot of her OF profile, and it's obviously cut off and hard to see, but you get the gist. You get the gist, and you can't see the bottom, but it says reasonable requests for $10.
Yeah. That was I think who was it? Gato was up here earlier who also read off what was on the bio. So at that point, yeah, it was very clear that there was just willful ignorance regarding, because the thing is, right, like going back to like asking for context. Okay, great. Now that we've been given all the context, if you're gonna sit here and say that, oh, that wasn't sexual when the bio, like again, you created this account, you've set a specific intention for it. You've communicated what your intention is in your bio. You've now created a contract with whoever's going to be interacting with that page. Hey, this is what's going to be available here. And this is me whenever I'm engaging on this platform. This is what you are to expect of me. So again, if it wasn't sexual, then all you could have done was not go live on there while you were doing it. But
Honestly, I think a lot of this has to do with white tea privilege because, to be very honest, I've been privy to a lot of stuff that people, had issues with Black trans women saying certain stuff, and people check them so bad that some of them have to leave the app, some of them deleted their profiles, and I find it very interesting that all these white tea trans women get a free pass because there was this a trans woman on this app. She's another one that did some weird shit too with underage kids. Not saying
Chloe.
That and this other lady. She's like a trans what's it called? She does handiwork. She's like a handy woman or something. If you know what I'm talking about. Her name's like Starburst. Yeah, Stardust. I was about to say Starbucks. Girl, I'm so dyslexic.
No, you're fine.
But yeah, I've seen the grace that people have afforded to her. And honestly, I do not think POC trans individuals get that same grace. I really don't. And I understand people might be like, oh, stop making it about race. But I just don't see the grace because I saw, if I compare something outside of the LGBT community, the way that people handled the Epstein situation versus the Diddy situation, they're both terrible people, and I'm not picking up for Diddy at all. They're both insanely disgusting human beings, to beneath the jail. But really look at it and see how the media, the police, the FBI, state police, all carried that situation to differences. I really feel like people who are persons of color, not only just Black, are put under so much scrutiny, and they are never afforded that grace. And then colorism also is a part to play with lighter skinned people, but at the same time, I just really don't feel like that, because it's just I don't see it. I don't see them holding other people of color to the same accountability that they give grace to these white tea creators. It's just insane. Because my thing is that if I'm a creator and I don't understand racism, how it's excused, because the whole situation with, I think, Dean and how he used to say N-word and homophobic slurs, where is the line when it comes to morality on these apps? Because respectfully, if people saw that Dean was talking to let's say he was 21, 22, and he talked to a 14-year-old, we would not be having a conversation about grace. But when somebody is racist or slightly pedophilic, excuse my language, we're giving them grace? Are we where did we lose the plot? Because I feel like we've lost the plot. Because that's insane to me, because people don't realize that the little microaggressions build up, and that's how Black people lose their lives. That's how all those indigenous women in Alaska are going missing and turning up unalive. That's how Black trans women get unalive. So I'm really concerned about how many people are letting racism and what I call soft P3DO behavior behavior, slide. That's insane, and that needs to be checked immediately.
And I just want to point out too, right? Because I don't care. Parker and Dean will never hear this. They don't give a fuck. And I've talked to Dean about this personally and called him out for the behavior that he's exhibited that had nothing to do with those screenshots that came out. It had actually something to do with the way that he spoke to me personally and came into a space where I was talking to somebody about them being wildly transphobic. He came in and literally told a black man silence, and then told me to wait my fucking turn and shut the fuck up after he came in with his big ass mic and tried to take over the conversation. I watched Parker use the trauma of a man who was on his live, who was intoxicated and was having a breakdown, like had said that he was drinking on live. He was cracking open a beer. He was 20 years old, was crying, and had said that his mom had just unalived. And then he just got his third DUI and had his license taken away for a decade. And Parker kept this kid on his live for a full 20 minutes. And while this kid is like crying, talking about wanting to unalive himself, Parker's going, "Thank you so much for the gifts. Thank you so much for the gifts. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the hearts." Fuck that. Fuck that. Because we know that if a black creator did something like that, they'd be gone. They'd be gone.
For the people in the comments talking about, oh, he took accountability, ask yourself the question, if he was 16 and he did COC, or he was 21 and he was talking to an underage child and he said, "Oh guys, I changed. I no longer are into little children," would we be having this conversation? Why is it ever okay for someone to use slurs, microaggressions that eventually get people unalived? Ever okay? Oh, they changed? They changed? Yeah, Wilma. That's insane. What are we having a conversation about someone changed? Because if we were talking about children, this wouldn't be a conversation. If we're talking about this in any regard, it would never be okay. Where's the line for people changing? Because I'm very scared with the morality that I'm seeing in a lot of people, especially on TikTok. Because people may think that this is a clock app, but there's a lot of children and like-minded people that be on this clock app that take what you say for an answer. That's exactly the reason why that person, Esther, who talked about black women and their genitalia, is getting a pass. That's exactly why many anti-black people on this app get a pass, because you're like, oh, people change. I'm gonna pause it. Sorry. That's exactly why these people get a pass, because y'all make it okay because they change, because y'all don't make a line when it comes to racism, because anything goes. As long as I don't put my hands on a black person or a person of color, it's okay. Right now, Mark Wahlberg still has a career. You know what he did to people of color? He was damn near stoned a black man to unalivement. Damn near stoned a couple of Asian men to unalivement, but he still has a career. He's staying prayed up. So I don't really get what y'all saying about change. Did he change? Is he good? Is he staying prayed up?
But Sky, he gets up at 4:00 in the morning and prays for an hour before he starts his day, so everything's fine.
I just wanted to get to a point where people treat it the same way, with the dignity that racism deserves. And I'm not just talking about just black people. Yes, I fight for my community, but this is exactly the reason why these things happen. And that's why those missing Indigenous women in Alaska and Canada don't get the media coverage and the respect they deserve. The missing black children in America don't get the stuff that they deserve. The missing children in Mexico, New Mexico, especially in Roswell, New Mexico, don't get any coverage because we're worried about shit like this. And this don't make no sense to me, because honestly, respectfully, if you're okay with what I call soft racism, it's insane, because where do you think that leads to? Because we all know where certain things that we don't like in society and we demonize come from. So why is it okay? Why is it ever okay he changed? Because I'm not trying to compare necessarily in the sense and say it's the same exact thing, blurring the lines between P3DO and anti-blackness or racism. But I've noticed that with certain topics, when it comes to, unspeakable taboo topics, There is no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You did that to a child, we're not having a conversation. But if you beat up a black person or you call a black person the N-word, you can change from that. It's okay. We're all kumbayas and rainbows, and I must respect you as a pillar of the black community, and you're speaking up for black people. No, I'm sorry. Respectfully, absolutely no.
Sky, well, it's a word. He said, I was gonna be quick. This guy said such a word. I just want to add a little bit. I know Isaac trying to go big, but I want to add a little bit. Ooh, I noticed this, like when we have these conversations, because you have people who are trying to, yes, what Adora did was wrong, and it's levels of pedophilic to it, but let's not downgrade racism to talk about that, to talk about the pedophilic aspect. And I feel like some people in the conversation, I'm not gonna name names but there are some people who have been having this conversation that I've seen have this conversation where it's like, okay, racism can be put on the back burner while we talk about pedophilia. I'm sorry, people can be unalived due to racism.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why I brung it up, because people only care about it when it's egregious.
Exactly. Here and really think about it, y'all were okay with her telling a black woman that she was on a leash. I guess for those of y'all who were questioned y'all support when I was being berated, that's one thing. But those of y'all who continue to support after that, who continue to go ahead and be in like tight, close-knit corners with them after that, and
that's what I don't understand. Like
stuff that took y'all.
People said that you were ableist because you called someone crazy. Is that what that was?
But here's the thing: I didn't call her crazy. That's the thing. That's what they're claiming. But like I said, I posted my live. If it was in there, did you think by now somebody would have clipped it out and put it up there? Because I haven't said it.
Yeah,
I went
like
I thought it was
the thing is
the
that
comment about Mel not like being able to. It had something to do with like the podcast and reading and how to learn differently.
Oh no. Yeah, that one was in Tweener's live. That live is also again posted. It's because literally I tried to give Mel methods and things to read to learn about racism, and instead she yelled at me that she doesn't learn that way, that's not how she learned. And she explained to me how she learned. She sat there and said that she learns through she's an auditor. She explained that she said she was a visual learner, but what she explained was auditory. And she learned by listening to people have conversation, and she said she'd been watching Mr. Jones's lives. And I was like, okay, I have some audiobooks that I can recommend you then. And then there was yelled at that they don't learn that way, and now I'm being told I was ableist because instead when you explained to me that you had an auditory learning thing, I tried to give you audiobooks instead. That was apparently me being ableist.
Because one thing I want to just add, the thing is that like The reason why I speak the way that I speak is because I need people to actually listen. Because anytime that I have left out a slight comparison to anything, people just hear, oh, well, they changed. But the thing is that you're not understanding that's where it starts. That's where the racism that leads to police brutality, the mortality rates of Black mothers, the way that Black people are handled when it comes to asylums and stuff like that. I don't particularly like calling them insane asylums or anything like that, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. People don't realize that that's where that leads to, that little microaggression where they're like, oh, but I have a Black friend, or, oh, those locks are so beautiful when it's braids. And it's like certain things lead to certain things. And my thing is that stop diminishing these, what I refer to as like the soft racism, where people do these things and tokenize and do all these anti-Black things, and they are able to get away with it because they didn't end the life of a Black person. That is what I'm talking about.
Can I really quickly jump in? I don't really particularly know about the situation, but I'm so sorry that that happened to you, Tabby. I don't think that you deserved any of that. And Sky, honestly, you ate down. I just want to say, I'm just coming up because I keep seeing the comments about like, this person changed, this person da 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 da. I really don't give a shit if they changed or not. That's literally the problem of them. I'm so sorry. Quite literally, I hope you guys are aware of the fact that being a bigot is not a normal part of adolescence. It's not, people of color, Black folks in particular, are not part of your self-development. And in fact, they don't owe you grace or forgiveness, because the harm that you literally cause when you speak in the manner that you speak, you should be getting it tenfold. So yeah, I don't care if they don't believe him, and for the rest of his life until he's in a wheelchair and 100 years old, there is somebody who comes up to him in the nursing home and is like, my Mima said that you're a bigot. So if you are the kind of person who is actively sitting here going, well, he changed, and you're not a part of that group of people, or even if you are a part of that group of people, because I'm a Black woman, you're a loser. You are a loser. I'm so sorry. Your political influencer bestie is not really over here giving anything. I mean, are we forgetting the fact that Camila Cabello got called out on her bigotry and was like, I'm just gonna go to therapy for being a bigot? The fact that, Tabby, you went out of your way to actually educate this person and then find different avenues, and then it was like very obvious, at least to me. I feel like that person was looking for a reason to basically run away from their accountability. It's also not anyone's responsibility to educate anyone. Way too many people have come up here and said that they were advocates for the Black community. It's so laughable. And then when prompted, hey, what exactly do you do? They're not giving anything, literally nothing. So yeah, I'm a hater. Personally, I support being a hater. If somebody is a bigot towards you, be a hater towards them until the end. Because you don't owe them anything, because they quite literally didn't take you into account when they were over here being bigoted towards you. 16 years old, especially 16, and then like what, that was a few years ago, is old enough to know not to be a bigot. I'm so sorry that you thought it was normal to say slurs at the big age of 16, knowing you needed to apply to college at the very least. So you weren't even a civilized bigot enough to know that you shouldn't have put that online, given that everything was online. Literally laughable. Your entire platform is built on arguing with people who are exactly the same as you. I'm so sorry that you cannot, like the rest of us, go out and do something. That's all I wanted to say. That's my 2 cents.
I also want to say this in regards to advocacy. I'm sorry, I don't consider people who just talk on TikTok advocates. I don't even consider myself an advocate, because again, if you just talk on TikTok, you aren't an advocate. Advocates go out and do groundwork. They go out there and they do real work for their community. These debate lives, as much as it's informational, if you are actively giving people the sources, it can be informational. It's just that. It's and most of these lives aren't even that.
They're for clicks.
Like,
can we be honest?
They're people going back and forth and they're arguing, but I've long since stopped seeing a majority of these lives actively give out the sources that they have, the sources that while they're debating. Like, I still do it where, like, if I'm debating on something and I want to give something factual, I will give a factual source. But most people don't do that. Most of it is people who are just trying to drag people, trying to bring people down, trying to get an "I got you." You're not an advocate.
No, because
The worst point is like when they're the worst thing that I think is when they're like trying to be an advocate. Like I was in this live and like it was like about a trans woman's vibe, and then someone came up and was trying to obviously be like a friendly, and they're like, Black people did not have the right to vote too long. Some of them can't even read right now, and we need to divert funds to the Black community, the Black communities that are underprivileged and poor. And I was like, oh.
Wait, can I just say something? Dina's a loser. I'm so sorry. Let that loser and bum know he's a loser and a bum. I don't care if you guys are a part of his cult, because what the heck? No, there was no 6 years of progress, because if somebody has actively changed and held themselves accountable, you know what he would have done before he got clocked for all of this? He would have posted a video himself, because everybody should know what kind of problematic skeletons they have in their pocket when they're actively calling other people out. Also, I'm so sorry. Coming out of a bigoted cooter doesn't make you a bigot. There's plenty of people who quite literally came from families with a triple K who've literally never said a single slur in their entire life. Please stop being lazy. 6 years ago was not that long ago. You're acting like COVID wasn't 4 years ago. Knock it off.
And like one thing I just want to ask y'all opinion on, right? Do y'all know about the situation that happened with that the girl that had that podcast? What was her name?
Brooke Schofield.
Yes, like I saw the tweets. Like, how was that ever like it was 17, I was 16, I didn't know any better? Because
I didn't hear about it. What happened?
Okay,
girl,
the girl.
Yeah, tell her because I can't.
Okay, so Tana, no, because Tabby clock it. Listen, Brooke is the girl who hosts the podcast with Tana Mongoose, and was called out for her tweets about literally talking horrifically about Trayvon Martin, who, by the way, same exact age as her. So I'm so sorry that a child lost his life, and you all of a sudden and you were laughing about it, calling him all of these horrendous things, saying he deserved to lose his life, and then proceeding to talk about Black folks in horrendous manners. I'm talking. I can't even say the tweets.
Said that she was raised by her she was raised by her grand racist. Okay, I know who y'all talking about.
Yeah.
Never mind. I do know that situation.
And that's the thing. I'm so sorry. Like, stop being a loser. Like, if you are, to the person who's like, if you're born into a racist family, it's kind of expected. Nonsense, buffoonery. I'm so sorry. This is literally like, get a grip on reality. I need you to go outside and take your shoes and socks off and literally grip the grass.
Insane.
Because plenty of Black folks are born into like anti-LGBTQ families,
right?
Very xenophobic families, and they do the effort to unlearn.
Clock it.
And yet here you all are, losers, capital effing L, losers. No other word for you.
So what I will say is that I could acknowledge, okay, if you're born in a bigoted family, most likely you are going to be bigoted. My issue is, how much grace do we give bigoted people at the expense of those who are going to experience that bigotry? Like,
None.
because like that's
zero.
No, because like that's the question that I think of, because I feel like people think too much about the person in itself. Like, oh, they were 16. Like, okay, and that most likely, if she was racist as a 16-year-old, she was bullying and doing things to other 16-year-olds. They were just Black.
Trayvon Martin was the same age. This is a 29-year-old woman. She's 29.
No, I know the situation. I'm just talking about as an example. Like, okay, let's say a white, because like they even try to use that same excuse for Mel. Mel grew up in a racist family. Mel's 40-something now. What does that got to do with anything? We're gonna sit here and like, how much grace do we give somebody when we know they're actively being harmful to other people? That's like looking at someone who is a school bully and saying, "Oh, this school bully has a bad home life." Okay, that doesn't give them the right to sit here and take it out on all these other
And it's definitely the white tea privilege too.
It's not even the white tea privilege only. I'm gonna say the quiet part out loud. If Dean was busted and Brooke was busted, y'all would not be having this conversation. Y'all think y'all have a chance at sucking their toes, and so you're willing to tell black folks they have to suck it up and forgive them. And you want to know something? They're not that pretty and they're not that smart, in my humble opinion. But if they were busted, y'all would have given them who is that one dude? Shane. Y'all would have given them the Shane Dawson treatment because y'all clocked his teeth real fast and tossed him aside.
I think Dean looks like that one character from Flushed Away. I never thought that man was ever giving, but okay.
No, I don't want to know something else. I am so sorry. There's like this thing where people actively tell people of color and marginalized people, you're being a bully. Yes, I hate you. Me personally, I was saying this in Isaac's live, which is why I had to come back up. I hate you. In fact, I'm going to go the lowest of lows. You go to the pits of hell. You contact Michelle Obama and let her know I found it level deeper. Because what do you mean I'm going to sit here with somebody who
because you want to know something. What's your name, by the way? Because I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm hella dyslexic. I can't read that. Wadad. Okay, listen, you know how people be like, oh, I'm going to hit below the belt. No, I'm not hitting below the belt. I'm going to the manufacturer's house. I'm going to find out who he is. And I'm going to unalive him. That's how far I'm going. We're not going under the belt, below the belt anymore. We're going straight to the manufacturer, okay? We're going to find who the creator of BB Belt is. And we're going to get him and his family too, and the dog.
Because clock this tea. When they sit there and they try to tone police you and have you meet specific demographics of people halfway, and that's why I stopped engaging with TikTok debates entirely almost. Because it's literally like a form of colonization. What do you mean, honey, free at last? What do you mean I'm going to sit here and sit with this person who has multiple devices in front of them, a Rode microphone, and tell them that I too am a human being? Knock it off. My mom didn't carry me for 9 months to be a fool. Please.
Like, this is like, see, y'all gonna laugh at this one, because even though I already knew Tuna was lost at this point, Tuna is the same person who asked me, what if you had a racist white friend? Would you stop? Would you get on them for being racist? I'm like, I wouldn't have a racist white friend. I'm like, what are we talking about? And then I'm like, oh, you're crazy. No, what did they call me for that? I was saying, they said I was a weirdo for that. I'm like, because as a black woman, I wouldn't be friends with a racist white person. I'm sorry. If you are white, you have to actively be unlearning racism in order to be my friend. Because I'm gonna let you know right now, I'm going to try to catch you. That's literally what I do with any white person I'm friends with.
When did being on the spectrum ever excuse someone from racism? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm like, is she like, she's on the spectrum, correct? Like, she's neurodivergent.
Wait, because clock this. No, because I'm so sorry. As somebody who is,
because I could have swore I heard someone said that.
Child, I have autism. Can you let me know what exactly part of the spectrum do I unlock my racism as a black woman?
That's what I was gonna hold a live tomorrow about, because I was literally like, I'm not gonna touch this until Monday, because like that's when I hold my lives. Tomorrow I was gonna hold a live and just be about like, because I usually hold black only spaces where I allow black people up to talk about things, and like we discuss whatever topic I have up, usually pertains to the black community, but every now and then I put up a topic that's more so like having to do with a lot of other things, and it's like black people only speaking on it. I was thinking of like holding a live tomorrow and be about like how white people hide behind disabilities when it comes to racism. Oh, Isaac trying to end.
No, I didn't want to interrupt the conversation.
Oh no, it's okay, Tabby. Do you want to come on my live, or I could go on your live, so we can continue the conversation?
I want to have this conversation when I go live tomorrow, because that's the conversation the live topic that I was already planning on hosting. I decided a few days ago, but that's going to be my Monday live topic, where I'm talking about that specifically. White people, you hiding, like, it also applies when they do something wrong, because I've seen like a lot of the messages where people are trying to claim that that Adora is like, I think they're trying to claim that Adora is autistic or has ADHD.
I believe they claimed having DID is what.
Yeah, and we're trying to use that to excuse the pedophilic stuff. And I'm like, why does this keep happening? First, it has to do with I don't learn that way, so now I can't take the time to learn about racism. Now is because it's you have the idea so that we're now supposed to be more gentle on you when it comes to you dilating without anybody's consent, violating people's consents. Like, it's this reoccurring thing that I keep seeing happening with white people. It also happens when we talk about school pupillings. Instead of it being a conversation about what that individual did, now it's a conversation about mental health.
Right.
But I'm like, mental health don't make you do that.
It is very gross.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I would say I do think it's kind of gross because they're being people with these conditions are being essentially used as a scapegoat to excuse this behavior when the people with those conditions typically don't engage in this behavior. So like it's very gross to me in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's essentially what I was going to hold a live about tomorrow and have like black people speaking on, because I know
What time are you gonna go live?
I usually go to live at 9, but I have my I'm taking my car to get maintenance at 9,
Eastern
so
time?
I'm going to be holding my live around 9, most likely 9:30 ish, depending on what time I'm up there.
Which time zone, Tabby?
Yeah, like
Eastern Standard Time.
Oh, okay, cool. Because like depending on where I'm at, it could be 5 hours ahead or like because I'd be like, let me know.
I'll send you. I can send you the live when I go live. Usually, my lives I start my lives between 9 to 10 in the morning at Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, that's good. W Isaac. I'm glad I got this off my chest because the people that needed to be checked and clocked were checked and clocked. So, everyone have a great night, and please unpack your racism and transphobia and all the isms and phobics you guys like to hold dear to your hearts. And no, I don't think Dean is a changed person. He's just gotten a lot of his, momentum from being pro-black and caring about black and trans lives. So, that's where his money is at. Once I saw him on Jubilee, I was like, yeah, it's clipped.
We made it. Bye. Hope Andrew's live. No.
Yeah, I will. No, I will. I was going to tell you that I can message you about the Glowhorn stuff. Which, by the way, I don't really care if he's in here or not. I will apologize though, because apparently saying smooth brain is, or like saying that someone has a smooth brain is or can be viewed as ableist. So my apologies. Like I said, I listen to some of these debate bros a bit too often, and a lot of the stuff that they say I've learned recently is actually ableist, so I'm trying not to. But thank you for informing me of that. That being said, Glowhorn, still a dumbass, and you going to an HBCU means absolutely nothing to me, especially if you're going to continue to be anti-black and defend people who defend racism.
Definitely message me about that because I need to know.
We'll do that. I will do that. But other than that, thank you to everyone who's been here, even though I know like most of the people are gone because we're down to 84. But that's absolutely fine because this did not even start off as any type of accountability life whatsoever. It was normal, everyday scheduled programming, and this is where we're at. This is wild. This is yeah. Anyways, appreciate all of you. Thank you for the likes and the shares and everything. For all the follows, if you're not following, consider following. And I hope people followed the amazing educated people that were up here just now. And yeah, I will see y'all. I'm gonna go eat. Also, if you catch me guesting on a different live, no, you didn't. All right, leave me alone. Okay. Anyways, I appreciate y'all. Everyone, take care of yourself, and I'll talk to y'all later. All right, bye.